I don't know if you guys are aware of DebateCon. It's in Nashville this time. It was in New Jersey back in February, and it's Modern Day Debate puts it on. And Modern Day Debate tends to stick to just religious and some other like
Yes.
topics.
Oh my God. Lacto
So
and I
I
know
have
that,
rented a
right? Yep.
venue. It's
Yep.
ridiculous. You guys are gonna love it. It's a there are two studios. We have Studio A and Studio B. There's outside gathering areas, sitting areas. I'm providing food. It's an all day event. It's from 10 a.m. until midnight on Friday. It's free as long as you have a DebateCon ticket. And basically, I'm hoping to have 3 or 4 long format debates in Studio A. Studio A also has sound rooms around it where I don't know if you're familiar with music studios, but they have these rooms where musicians can go in and play where they just record that sound separate from anything that's going on in the main studio. And there are 4 of those rooms. They're big enough in theory for a piano and a person. And so we're going to try and see if we can't have streamers be able to go in there and do like a half hour to an hour, like update their audience, just say, hey, here I am, whatever. Um, it's literally the most legit venue ever. It's on Music Row. You can literally walk up and down the street and see where, you probably don't listen to country music, but you can see where hits are recorded. And it's going to be a really cool event, and you should come down to Nashville and check it out.
Deepfake sexual images are an increasingly serious problem faced by women and girls. The issue is compounded by the fact that this freely accessible, fast moving, and increasingly convincing technology has outpaced legislation by leaps and bounds. The problem is particularly pernicious in schools, so solutions remedies are needed now. How do you propose we approach this issue? Is this a problem for parents to solve or educators? And should we criminalize young people who engage in this behavior? Would government involvement provide relief or worsen the situation? So, um, I actually saw this topic. The article that I shared with these individuals, our friends here, was from Australia. And it was a pretty detailed article, which I hope everyone read because it's really worth reading. Um, and talking about like what's been like over the last few years for women and girls with this the threat, the sort of Damocles like hovering over their head of a deep fake. Because with these deep fakes, like you don't need, it's not like what it was before, where if like a young girl or boy, young girl usually sending out nudes to a friend, right? Or her nudes being stolen somehow, however, somehow acquired and then shared around, passed around, right? Which was awful for her, on its own. In this case, any picture will do. If you have a series of pictures and you feed them into very freely available software technology, yes, you can come up with a defect. They can, decide the body type for the girl, and then have her doing all kinds of unfortunate things, right? So this is a huge issue, and like when we're talking about schools, particularly in this conversation, like it's not just young girls who have to worry about this, but teachers as well, right? They'll do this same thing with teachers as long as they get a picture of you. And I mean, if you're working with like males, your students, like they can get a picture of you like in school. If they can't find your social media, they can just like do that too. So this is like a huge thing that's kind of hanging over their heads. And like, how do you deal with it? And then like, how do parents handle it? And what should the government do? Where should they be involved in this? These are all answers, and just like how Australia is still having trouble figuring it out, the U.S. is very much still, piecing this together. So that's what I wanted to discuss. Super fun article, the depressing article, but hopefully we can have a good conversation. So that's our friend Lactoid.
Yeah, I'm Lactoid. You can find me on Lactoid TV and Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. I'm going to start with, I guess, saying the first, addressing the topic specifically. Um, I, my position on this has been pretty consistent. We did a similar topic many months ago, and my position is the same. I think that if you're going to use AI generated or deepfake images of somebody, Not saying this should be illegal, but you should be legally required to have some kind of watermark or some kind of indication that it's fake, and you shouldn't be able to pass it off as real. I think that's kind of the solution there. How feasible the solution is, I don't know. The other thing I want to point out, though, and when you click on the specifically the story that is that we read, yeah, I understand that the deepfake issue. I don't really think as with any kind of AI imaging, there's a lot of issues that are coming up. I don't think we're gonna be able to fix them. There's a whole bunch of links in this story to a bunch of shit that's like some of which is kind of ridiculous that people are complaining about. So it like for in the list of misogyny that's pervasive in these schools in Australia, according to this newspaper, includes worship of Andrew Tate, an offensive ranking of female students, their classmates, 2 stories of offensive rankings of female classmates. Looking through some of the allegations here, yeah, I mean, nothing here to me seems like jarring or bad. It seems like adolescent kids, quite literally being adolescent kids. I know there's like kids will be kids is like a bad kind of moniker now. It's a bad moniker these days. But I mean, one of these things that caused this teacher to quit was, quote, students making moaning noises in my classrooms, asking me inappropriate questions, asking personal questions. A bunch of students in Australia got suspended because they made a list of students. The cute ones were called wifeys and cuties. The ones that were really unattractive were quote unrapeable. Not really the best thing to say. I agree. There probably should have been some kind of like, hey, that's kind of offensive. You maybe be more careful. But these got news stories, and so I do wonder if stuff like this is picking up so much like kind of national traction in the newspapers over there. I don't really know how much of a problem this deepfaking stuff actually is. Like in terms of how many people is it actually affecting? How many people is it actually bothering? Yeah, again, I'm okay with legislation against it that is specifically targeted to avoid like, hey, this is fraud, right? You can't misrepresent things. But I don't know if this is actually as big of a deal as people are making it out to be.
Like Kibbs.
Yeah, I echo kind of what Lactoids here said with the watermark or some other kind of hidden indicator. Maybe it's like something you like scan and it'll tell you, that way they can prove it's a deep fake and then that can be released or whatever. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm pretty against overall super legislating that this new tech. Technology always kind of is ahead of legislation in these regards. It's crazy though. I think it's a small problem, really, overall. Kind of like Lactoid said. In fact, I think that we need to do 2 things. We need to bring contact sports back to schools and more capabilities. Maybe bring up whenever you're getting bullied, instead of like suspending kids, you have the coaches give each other boxing gloves and a headset, and then have the 2 girls box it out. I think that would be good, or the 2 boys. I think we need to bring back combat sports. We've been raising all these baby ass bitches, and I'm sick of it. I'm tired of the participation trophy mentality. We need to make bullying great again. Bullying builds character. People aren't bullied enough, and that's how we get all these jackass crawling online people that like now don't know what the real world's like. They can't take a mean joke, and they cry like they got a big case of pussitis every time something happens. And in fact, I really got to say, I think that this is a deep fake. This question is a deep fake in and of itself, because I don't know if it's the Prime, but I think Prime has been bamboozled and led astray when he brought us this topic. Because you know who the biggest perpetrators of deepfakes are? It's the Democrats. They sat here and deepfaked a whole presidency. We literally found out now that Biden gave away his power of executive penmanship to fucking someone else. We literally know this is a fact. The memo got released in the last 48 hours that delved into this. We know they deepfaked the presidency. This auto pen scandal is not going away. I am just astounded astounded that we're going to talk about deep faking such a small minority of people in high school and shit where this is really going down. It's just bullying. Kids are going to bully. Let's talk about the deep fakery that's happening with the Dims. They're bamboozling us. You know what? And this is the Ali. Ali's going to object to this, I know. But I just recently found out about the Muslim concept of taqiyya, or whatever the fuck it is. Ali has probably been implementing taqiyya on us, saying Madani and them are not different households. They are literally pulling another deep fake right now in New York. He's acting like he's a moderate Muslim, and then if he gets elected, bam, Sharia law, it's coming. I think the only way for America to save itself is if the left either eats itself with the LGBTQ finally discovering that the Muslims have been giving them the old taqiyya the whole time, or if the Republicans just put our foot on the throat of these evil lefties and their plans, these perfidious plans. That's what we got to do. Stop deep faking America. That's my thoughts on deep fakes.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, this is my life. Let's go to our friend Corey, please.
And it's my life that I have to go after that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, did my ears deceive me? Did I just hear Gibbs say that he's against legislation of new technology? Just want to clarify. Did I hear that? So where's
No, you heard that part.
Except for lab grown beef.
Except for lab grown meat.
Okay.
That's an important one.
Gotcha. Yeah, no hypocrisy there. Okay, just wanted to clarify that.
How many ranchers exist in the world compared to high school girls?
More.
Okay.
Here's the best part. We're feeding those high school girls. We're feeding them. You're welcome. Those high school girls couldn't live today without us ranchers. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I find that super. No surprise that someone who is in the cattle ranching industry, okay, like new technology, no legislation. Oh, but definitely preserve mine. Don't tread on me type of stuff. Yeah, very interesting. But all that to say too, try to narrow it into the topic. So, I agree with Lactoid's recommendation or what they're advocating for. I see that as a step in the right direction, and probably something to try out and see if that maybe results in some sort of positive effect. I also agree with the sentiment of I don't know the scale of the problem, but what I can say is there are stories here in Canada as well, in whatever national newspapers. Of children experiencing specifically, no surprise, teenage girls experiencing the same thing. And now again, does that mean it's a wide scale problem? I don't actually know. It is still an open question, but I can foresee that it will become an ever increasing problem potentially. So it's maybe getting ahead of it would be good, but maybe on the more severe side. So at the end of the day, I don't actually know what the answer is. I have no problem admitting that. I think this is a very difficult, at least for me. And it might just be my limitation. I see it as a very difficult problem to solve. In the extreme end, I would maybe entertain the idea of okay, if this is children essentially creating a deep fake adult imagery, then let's see how actually criminalizing it actually is. If you're actually using the face of a 13-year-old and it results in the image of pretty much that type of material, I think that potentially qualifies as essentially child sexual abuse material, and therefore that might actually curb the generation of that. But whether it's actually going to be effective, I don't know. But that's maybe an experiment on the extreme end that we might want to try out. If children want to create adult imagery, then maybe they should be treated as adults and penalized as such. But I'll leave it there for now.
Oh wow! I didn't expect Corey to come down with the prosecutorial hammer, but okay, all right. Let's go to our friend Grid.
All right. Hey, yeah, guys, thanks for having me once again. I'm Grid One Motorsports. You can find me at An Unreasonable Man on YouTube and Twitch and various other places. This is one of those things that I guess I just really haven't paid attention to, so I had to take some time and educate myself a little bit about it and kind of get familiar with the various cases that have come forth and do I think it's a far-reaching problem? I'm not really sure it is. Is it a problem that could become a far-reaching problem? Absolutely. However, I don't know, being a constitutional and conservative such as myself, I don't believe in new laws just for the sake of having a new law. And I don't always want to limit tech in and of itself. I don't know that deepfake isn't something that could be useful, but that's only because I don't use it for anything. So I do, however, what I did find was that we already have a lot of things on the books currently to deal with this stuff. Well, for example, California has a $2,500 fine for state revenge porn, and that would cover deep faking and putting someone's likeness into a and less than clothed circumstance. Whether it was actual corn or not, it wouldn't matter. We already have, obviously there are privacy torts. You can sue people that way. There's defamation suits that you could go through. Those already exist. In Texas, it's a felony actually to do anything like a deep fake, where you assume somebody's image and use it in a pornographic manner. That is a felony. You will go to pound me in the ass prison, and it will not be pleasant for you. And actually, Ted Cruz in Texas has what's called the Take It Down Act. The Take It Down Act, if you're not, we'll get into that, I'm sure, later, basically addresses all of this in one neat little package that's not a massive growth of our government. It also kind of avoids new federal bans that risk surveillance creep. You guys have to understand that, yeah, can we put a watermark or something on that? But what we're really talking about is a lack of our personal privacy as well. When we ask the government to come in and look at every single video that we post online, which it does already, but now we're asking them to go even into our phones, go into private areas. I don't know that I like that idea. I'm really surprised that the libertarians, I guess we only have one tonight, but I'm really surprised the libertarian kind of went down that route.
Zero.
I don't want the state anywhere near any of that. And, so this is kind of where I'm going to be. We will talk about parent-led solutions. I do believe there's some of those, but I'm kind of getting long in my opening here. But I do believe government worsens the problems in most cases. So there we go.
Okay, thank you so much. And last but not least, our good friend Ali.
Yeah, to Grid's point, I do think that there are already laws. If you, I'm like 100% sure if you're like 15 or 17 and you're making deep fakes of like 14-year-olds that does, CP does kind of fall into that bullshit. Like, exactly. I'm sure there are defamation laws. I'm sure you can't just do these types of things. You should be able to sue. If not, then I think those should be implemented within the states or add within like the states if it's state to state. But I think the issue is like right now we're seeing the forefront of like we have teachers trying to get ahead of this thing, like because they saw what happened with social media, the depression, the anxiety, the whatever bullshit. Like Gibbs, to your point, the like online bullying affects the kids. I mean, yeah, sure, we can say to toughen up, but like, I mean, if they're just not, if the kids are just freaking out, if we are just having rampant suicides, it isn't good. And yeah, maybe the parenting needs to happen, but like I don't know what you do, because right now we are kind of putting all the pressure on teachers. Teachers are having to learn like AI and like what goes into AI, how to use it, how to avoid it. We're not paying them enough to do these types of things. They have tasks. These teachers are old, right? They're in their 60s, they're in their 50s, they're in their 40s. They have their own shit going on, much less to sit here and raise kids on top of that. But you can't implement training on parents, right? So the only reasonable thing to do would be to like have some type of like hyper limited internet access to kids under 18. Like we're gonna have to get to that point, because we can't force parents to parent better. That's just not something we do. I've said, negligent parents should be fined for their kids' actions, and I get fucking laughed at for that. All right, cool. So, but we're gonna have to do something. If like at a certain point, if the parents aren't gonna parent, the government is going to have to, unless we're just gonna have like wild rampant kids going crazy doing deep fake porn of girls. And yeah, like it may not affect you now, it may not be rampant now, but like social media we didn't think it was going to get as crazy as it is today. So imagine AI and how exponentially like fast the shit goes. Like there are 9-year-olds using AI right now. And so like imagine their capabilities by the time they hit 13, 14, 15. Like there needs to be something.
So
yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Yeah. I'd really like to comment on something you just said. And that is about the kids. And look, kids make mistakes all the time. They're kids. Yeah. So even if they get on and they use a tool and they make a video and they You know, they don't I mean, I hate to say they don't understand what they're doing, but they don't have an idea of the scope of it. I don't know that we should ruin kids' lives over that, but certainly there has to be some way of dealing with it. Now, my understanding is, and I'm not a tech guy, and
there is a way, Grid.
If we, what?
There is a way, Grid. It's called bring back ass whoopings. That's what we need to do.
Well,
and all these cities want parents to do it, then we should have the coaches.
Hold on. I'm talking about actually detecting it when it happens. So, and I know that there are tools out there. I believe there's one called Deep Rhythm that detects deep fake 98% of the time. You know, those are tools that parents, schools.
Can it tell you who made it?
You could install it on your phone, and so you know if your kid's getting a text, you could find out if somebody's deep faking there. So I think the tools are there to detect it. It's what do we do about the people who are doing it, right? Like
if you can't find the people that are doing it, that's one problem. But two, the other problem is, if the image is already out or the video is already out, it doesn't matter if you can detect that if it's a deep fake. So like just a quick example, when I was in high school, there was a girl who transferred high schools. She had lost a lot of weight over the summer. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened, but someone found her old pictures of when she was fat, printed a bunch of copies and like spread them around, like, you know, tossed them around the school. We never found out who it was.
That's literally from like the movie Mean Girls.
Yeah. Listen, this thing happened. I don't fucking know. We never found out who it was. So before AI, before we have these deepfakes, was already a problem. Is we're not always going to know who. Most of the time, you're not going to know who it is, and especially now, if it's just like you can just make an image, send it around through an anonymous Twitter handle, right? And they're not going to have investigators come find out who this is.
The investigators might not find out, but the kids know who it is.
Yeah, unless it's some like crazy Netflix doc where it's the mom or something out with the outlandish. You know, generally it's going to be the kids. The kids are going to know who it is. This is why I'm talking about bringing back ass whoopings, bro. Like used to, if you acted up, you'd get punched in the mouth, or you'd get home and your parents would get a whooping. It used to be like that. Yeah.
It used to be like that.
Yeah,
you're shaking your head no, but yeah, it used to be.
My parents, if I did something like that, if I was beating too mean to kids, and my parents got the call from the school, they're like, "Son, you're gonna go in there and wash your mouth out with soap." And hell yeah, guess what? I didn't want to get my mouth washed out with soap, so I got creative with my insults. Where they're like, "Well, what did he say?" And then they're like, "Okay, now whatever." Bullying's good; it builds character. We got too many pussies now, and that's a big problem.
Girls are pussies, bro. We're not supposed to bully girls.
Even then, I literally have a girl in the room. I literally have a girl in the room that'll sit here and tell you you're wrong. She'll sit here and tell you you're wrong because guess what? If someone talks shit to her, she's gonna punch him in the mouth. That's what Latinas do. That's what
we already know the girl that's
this is all white country.
You say this. Hold on. You say this. Hold on. This is a bad argument.
Little Asian girls.
Let me just finish this argument. You're making a very bad point here. You're saying in my circle. I would wager my circle of women is probably larger than probably anybody's here circle of women. I go out. I go to different places all the time. I see. So I have a larger.
He's mobbing on you right now, Corey.
I see. It's not even an insult. I have a larger.
He gets all the bitches.
No, it's not even. That's not what I'm saying. I have a larger sample size of like talking to people, and they're going to tell me, "Hey, you know, if you talk shit, you get hit." It's that simple. Instead, what we're doing is we're talking about legislating. Let me give you a good scenario, right? Where even like, okay, I know a streamer. She has people that uses the deepfake stuff to make her look younger, but like for CP, and they use her likeness to try to catch people. That's a valid, good use. You're not endangering a child. It's an adult that you've made this into, and you're using this to find actual predators. That sounds like a good use of a deepfake. Do you not want to get pedos off the street? You don't want to get pedos off the street? It's like that. Why do you like pedos?
The legality of that seems
legality
iffy.
Is iffy.
How is that illegal?
Not only is legality because the legality that's iffy. The other thing, how
sounds like you're defending pedos right now.
Wait, is the legality iffy?
I am not.
Yeah. So why is this?
I promise you, I'm not.
Because
how are you going to craft a law that allows for that but doesn't allow for digitally created CP?
One. If somebody volunteers,
just bring back ass whoopings. That's
bring
the
back
solution,
ass
right
whoopings.
there.
Yeah, honestly, we should be ass whooping the pedos. We should let the pedo sentence be adjusted decided by the parents of the child he molested. That's what we should be doing. And I guarantee they get thrown in the wood chipper every time.
Question,
and never more they start doing it.
How do you design a law right? Like you're saying, oh, if someone gives permission, okay, so I can pay a woman to give me permission to make
age her down.
CP porn of her.
But
Right?
she's an adult.
Well,
In order to,
hold on.
but it's also in order to catch
talking,
pedophiles.
I think you guys are talking.
Oh yeah. I'm
each
gonna
other.
catch pedophiles. That's why I'm totally gonna do it. That's why I'm totally.
I mean,
planning
it's
this, right?
better than
I
people
mean,
like doing Kawaii or whatever that
I'm
bullshit
going to be
is.
in the process. I'll start that next year. Until then, I'm going to need a lot of images. Going to need to compile a lot of images. Of this.
If I understand Gibbs correctly, and maybe I'm not,
on
so let me see if I understanding you correctly.
Sounds like you like
Gibbs.
pedos, what it sounds like.
No.
If you what you're saying is that this woman who probably looks fairly young anyway allows
But you
herself
know
to
this
be
person.
digitally. I do.
Mm-hmm. We'll talk later. Go ahead.
Weird.
I mean, I know a lot of people, but if this person allows themselves to be digitally aged back to catch criminals, is that different than a cop that wears makeup
It's not.
to make themselves look younger?
The better comparison. No, the better
It's not
comparison
any
would
different
be.
at all.
No, the better comparison would be: what if somebody was using child pictures of themselves, and they consented?
They
to
do
it?
that. People do that. The cops usually do that.
That's not
hold on,
allowed.
no, in some of the countries, overseas,
If they're nude, it's not allowed.
No, overseas specifically, they were using
a lot of shit's allowed overseas.
Sure,
I want to talk.
in Europe, they were using the CP stuff like that were given to them by former victims in order to catch new predators.
True, European standard run it.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I don't know.
How do you catch these people without putting?
You don't sound like you.
I think.
I mean, you're using people that have already been
them.
damaged, or you're using like someone that's a consenting adult to catch these criminals. What's the problem?
All we're saying is that there is a bit of like a kind of legal kind of tripwires all over the place here, where you can't you are creating CP at that point.
Well, hold on,
yes, you are.
Are they?
You're saying you're going to use it as bait, but it is creation.
I mean, what if it's just like close to CP? Like they're just like it's a normal risque photo you find on Instagram, and they make you like 15.
Kind of close to CP.
But hold on, and they use it to entrap this
the jury,
this person, and they show it to the cops.
This is weird. This is a weird argument.
That was it.
Me.
I'm just saying this is something that people do to catch criminals that are actual predators.
I mean,
how do you catch a predator without bait?
I mean, I understand that when they go into these stings and
you don't catch a predator without bait.
I mean, I understand.
No,
Look,
it's happened before.
I think have we not all seen
the Catch a Predator show without using CP?
Like, you know why I'm not worried about this? Because I'm not looking at this shit. There's no chance of catching me because I'm not a fucking pedo. Now these fuckers are pedos.
No one suggested you were.
No, I'm just saying. I understand that.
I'm just making it clear.
Actively defending himself. Yeah,
I'm saying like ahead of time, but I'm saying that anybody that is worried about this sounds like you're a pedo. Why are you worried about it?
Your Honor, look, I said it on that one panel.
Like, oh man, he died. I don't have to worry about dying of heroin. I'm not a heroin addict. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that simple. Like, why are you worried about these people dying of heroin?
Okay, all right. Look, nobody here thinks that about you, Gibbs. All I'm saying is that legally speaking, there is a bit of a gray area here as to it's not even a bit of a gray. Like, I just would not recommend anybody try this. This is like probably be flat out illegal.
I'm just curious.
Probably don't do it. All right.
Everyone's
not a good idea.
on it. Yeah.
I wouldn't. I mean, well, first of all, it sounds like they're working with law enforcement.
Yeah, they're working with.
I'm having a hard time drawing this, you guys, because what I'm hearing is it's no different than using a female cop that's 20 that looks 14 to catch people at the truck stop, meeting people, expecting to come in and date a 12-year-old. That's I just don't understand.
It's not porn.
Right, but he didn't say that he created porn.
No, he said
she made them to look younger. I said
you made yourself look younger
in just a picture or in porn.
Was it?
They didn't I don't have that information. I just told they made it the age of
one would be don't do it.
This is what I'm trying to get my head around.
I was just told about this. I had nothing to do with it. This is I was told to be.
I mean, it makes a huge difference, right?
I don't know that. Yeah. I don't know that.
It makes a big difference.
I was just told they aged the photos down. That's what I was told.
So great.
They got rid of some gray hairs, and that's all the same. In
the Taylor Lorenz of Pedo Hunters.
Great, fantastic.
I would agree with you.
I can't hear you, Prime. I'm sorry.
Yeah, great. I would agree with you if it. Okay, if the story is A, right,
Right.
we're just aging down photos or just using photos of the younger version of someone, right?
Sure.
And just like using that, right, like clothed like normal photos.
Right.
and
Right.
using that
That's
as
what I
bait,
thought he
right?
was talking
Then
about.
I agree with you. Then like it's no different than using a cop who looks shunned.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it involves creating like deepfake nudes of a younger
Yeah.
one, that seems different. That seems like a big problem. I wouldn't fuck with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do
You know
that.
what this is? You know what this is? Y'all had the biggest Destiny defender on last week, and now y'all know that Destiny would get caught with this new idea that I've had, and so y'all are concerned.
You're right. I'm preemptively warning Destiny.
Brainwash y'all brainwash
We're in
y'all.
his DMs
And now
right now,
y'all worried
Discord.
that he's gonna
I'm
get
letting him know.
busted for these.
You texting him right now?
Yeah, I'm letting him know. But I think leaving this shit aside,
It's awful.
on the
Let's
article.
move away from this point. This point's
thank
whack.
you. On the article, Australia, the pinnacle of human rights, these fucking other Anglo countries
Sure.
that aren't fucking up free speech constantly. Australia made it a law punishable by 7 years in prison to make deepfake pornography of an adult.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got a problem with that.
We're gonna get to the point of like online rape, right? You know, we're gonna get there because this is breaking so much consent, brother. Like it's a fucking issue.
Ollie, I'm gonna ask you all the questions that I asked last
Yeah.
time, okay? Because where
Go
I'm
ahead.
at is like a watermark. But if we're gonna criminalize just in
A
total,
watermark.
yeah,
A watermark
if we're
doesn't
gonna-
do anything. The image is out.
Well,
I'm saying put something on the image so you know that it's fake.
Out, the damage is
Yeah,
done.
but
and there's
knowing
nothing
that
to do
it's
about it.
fake, knowing that it's fake isn't necessarily the issue, right? Like,
okay, Ollie, straight. Okay, let's say I'm a very talented artist. Can I draw you naked?
if I allow you to, if you
No, what if you don't? What if I'm just drawing? I draw a stick figure
magazine,
with like I draw a stick figure with an arrow pointing down above. It says
are
Ollie,
you distributing?
and it's got a
Or
little
is this
dick.
going to be in a vacuum where it never gets out?
Here, I'll do it right now.
No. I'm saying, like, Jesus Christ.
Well, hold on. While
See?
he's drawing,
I'm
just get a pen. Draw a stick figure.
Share your
Yeah.
screen.
And it's got
go into
it's an
paint,
arrow
go
pointing to
paint.
you, and it says Ali, and it's got like a little dick on there. Haha, Ali's got a little dick. I'm
Right.
insulting you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Boom.
so we
7
just had
years?
this in our community.
No, wait. Well, listen, we're not, once again, the European standard here. I'm
Oh,
not
we got it in
fucking
real
taking-
time.
we're talking
Where's the
about-
line? Look, Gibbs is doing it right now. Gibbs, you're committing a crime in Australia. Stop.
Is it really
Oh
that?
my God.
Are you just
Not that.
playing
Jay,
up?
you
No,
know,
I'm here.
Thank you, brother.
I'm playing up
I
the inconsistency
really
in the
appreciate
Australian law
the
because I just looked at it.
I certainly don't ever.
And the law
want
in
to
Australia
take
is
anybody's, line of
digitally
thought,
created or
it
altered
is
sexual
important for me
content of
to
somebody
continue
else.
to justify
That's
doing
it.
spending all this
It's
time
very broad.
to get the donuts.
Digitally
in.
created.
I really
I could
appreciate
go
it.
on
Thank you
Google.
so much.
I can go on Paint right now, and
Okay.
technically, under that statute, draw a stick figure, have an arrow point to it, and say this is Ali, and then have like a
because-
little dick. Technically, this is digitally created.
Yeah,
sexual
Australia's
content of you.
crazy. Me and you aren't going to
Yeah,
disagree there. I'm
Great.
asking
All
you
right.
to.
I
to
just
the-
well, this article's from Australia. Just to point.
Yeah, I know,
All right.
but like we're going to bring it to the American
hold on,
standard.
so
an actual
Hold it,
civilized
Chris,
country.
all
I
these
agree.
questions
Okay.
that once it's out, and you just nothing to do about it. So
Yeah.
recently, there's a fellow in our community named Marte. He's a bodybuilder, and he's taken some pictures, and he had an OnlyFans for a while, and apparently he did model naked on that OnlyFans. And he's an adult, but someone has actually gone through and put out pictures that are not him, claiming they're him, and linked him to specific pornographic movies, trying to sully his reputation.
Yeah,
Now-
that's crazy.
Now you say once it's out there, it's out there. There's nothing you do about it. But there is something that can be done about it, right? Like he has fought these allegations, he's pulled out the proof, and he's just moved on with
Yeah.
his life. And so I don't.
yeah,
I mean,
but-
I understand that you're saying, well, children, their children are different. That
Not
these
even
pictures
children,
are out
normies.
there. Go ahead. I'm
Normies
sorry.
are normies, like let's just say, God forbid, your wife, right? Someone puts a deep fake out into the world, and it's like your wife nude, right? Regardless of getting it taken down, the people who see it see it, and her
Sure.
reputation is going to be tainted regardless of the removal, right? And the issue is that damage is done,
Okay.
and like to that person, the individual, the normal
It also
person,
happened to
it's a big
Taylor
deal.
Swift.
Well, let me
Right.
give you
Yeah, it did
another.
happen to Taylor Swift.
It
Well,
happened to
there's
Taylor
another-
Swift.
There's another scenario that's happened.
Did that really hurt
Sure.
her reputation?
Well,
I mean,
Well,
no,
not
but
an
luckily,
album
but
publication.
she's a celebrity, and luckily your friend Marte was already an OnlyFans, so he already had news out, so it didn't really matter to him personally. But like to the average person
Well, it
who
called in
doesn't
his
live this
question.
type of
It
life,
called into his
Well, hold on.
character
There's
in the debate-
another
in the debate
question.
round.
Let me give you another scenario that's not at like a sexual one, right? That's kind of similar to what we're talking about, right? This actually happened twice recently. Once, just recently, we had a Bieber lookalike. Actually, 3 times now I think about it, go on stage and sing a bunch of songs at a concert, claiming to be Bieber, and everybody thought it was Bieber until like after a while they figured out, kicked them off. We had the Drake lookalike do that in Miami, and
these are
not
funny.
long ago. And then we had recently somebody that looked like the Dave Portnoy, who owns Barstool Sports, go on a racist rant and slap the pizza, and it was everywhere. Now, I could see somebody making a deep fake of like Dave Portnoy going out there and saying some racist shit, or like doing some other, and that being just
Really
as
a deep fake for that?
Yeah, well, sure, but let's just hypothetically say, like, you know, they deep faded. Let's just say they deep faded Lactoid, and he's the one getting slapped with a pizza for coming after the Jews or some shit, right? And they're coming after him. They slap him with the pizza in this deep fake, and they put out that could be more damaging than
defamation.
sexual,
Yeah,
and
you
like
just apply defamation standards.
Oh, you say that though, but if the guy goes, "I made this in clear parody," you know, then you got to fight the parody laws. And we're like, I guess the line we're talking about is the sexual line.
It wouldn't be clear.
But it's like, it seems like, you know, there's quite a bit of leeway here with how this is going down. I think the only thing you can do is make sure that you can find out that it is a deep fake. I don't know how you regulate
issue with
this.
the deep fake memes is that like if it's funny, fuck it, who cares about deep fake memes? But like when it's something like once again, it's like pornography, right? They're deep faking without the consent. And the other issue is we wouldn't have this issue if people just kept it in their fucking homes, but it gets spread around. And then the third issue is that it's happening in high schools where like young adolescents are going to be the most likely people to kind of do this type of shit because they're just young, horny, fucking little degenerates.
I don't know if I believe. I mean, it's possible. I don't know if I believe that people under 18 are going to be most likely to do this. I could see.
So?
It doesn't seem to be.
I think between anywhere between 18 and 50 is going to be a huge age demographic that's probably going to do this. You're saying that it's like making deep fakes without their consent.
I'm saying the people above 30 don't even know how to use AI to like answer a question.
Oh, come on.
I work in a school. I deal with these teachers. One of them said, "Hey, the AI asked it a question and didn't know. Like, do I just answer it? Like,
yes. You're going to run into people that don't know how to operate this. You're going to run.
They're running training programs in schools because teachers specifically don't know how to deal with this shit.
There's plenty of people over the age of 30 who know how to operate AI. And there's plenty of people.
It's more or less people over 30 that know how to operate AI.
I'm just trying
probably because 30 to 50 is like a 20-year fucking age demographic, as opposed to what 14 to 18, which is a 4-year age demographic. I think it's perfectly reasonable to assume that
the kids
people
that are
over the age of 18
are getting it at like 8 and 9.
I don't think 8 or 9-year-olds are using AI to like generate pornography.
Yeah,
but I'm talking about the generated pornography part.
No,
specifically.
I'm saying the usage of AI. They know how to use AI a lot more. So the younger demographic of people are more online. They're what do you like?
Look, this is just like an per capita. I could agree in terms in total because we're talking about legislation that's going to affect the whole country, all of people.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand what your goal is, Ollie.
Right, and so if the question is like, should we be limiting this shit in schools? Sure. Should we be limiting this shit amongst kids? Yes, but I want children to be limited in consuming regular pornography as well. Like that, all this shit should probably be excluded. But I'm not in favor, and we got to be very fucking careful. I'm not in favor of banning pornography for adults, and I'm not in favor of like going overboard and regulating pornographic AI for adults, unless there is like a valid argument that you can provide to me that it actually directly hurts somebody. And if I use a deep fake, if I make a deep fake, sure, well then there's no disagreement. But we're talking about right now, a lot of people want to criminalize making deep fakes of adults. They already did it in one country. There are voices in this country that want to do it too. That want to make it illegal. That if I want to deep fake Taylor Swift, and you know, can somebody give me a good reason why I shouldn't be able to deep fake a Taylor Swift nude? It's not her, right? It's not like I'm sharing her nudes. I'm literally just generating a naked body and putting her face on it. I mean, men have been doing this for centuries.
Especially if
it could be defamatory, but it's
and then there's the lack of consent issue, right? Like there's a bunch of shit that
whoa. Consent. Why do I need someone's consent to generate an image of them?
What's the purpose of generating
a fake image of them?
You don't. if
I want to draw a picture of like I don't know, Hitler, do I need Hitler's consent first? No, I don't.
Hey, what
It's
if I want to
ridiculous.
draw?
You
what
mean
if I
the
wanna
dead? You mean the dead German
if you want to use the
authoritarian?
dead,
Oh, I thought consent about dead bodies mattered
once again,
to you people.
once again, you keep saying you keep saying as if like the individuals who are doing this, it doesn't remain in the vacuum,
Well,
right? The shit gets spread out. It ends up getting mass produced if we end up being okay with it.
And then no one's going to trust news
hold on.
anymore.
Can
This will kill nudes.
Can AI make a
No, it
picture?
won't.
Can AI
it
make
will.
a picture of
Oh, yeah.
Muhammad and it'd be okay?
I'm actually in the boat with
Can
Lactwood here.
AI make a picture of Muhammad and that'd be okay?
I don't think ChatGPT
according
will
to
let you.
Muslims, no, but how? Yeah, the AI won't do it unless the online jihadists
Will
go
Grok do
crazy
it?
on
I'll
it.
check right now.
Okay.
We're asking the real questions now.
I mean, he's gonna ask a question.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, that
audience.
means he's
I'm
gonna
just
ask a question.
I'm asking it to generate a picture of Jesus. Very
We're
acceptable.
about to end up on CNN and Fox News right now. I hope you're ready.
Okay. Anyway, so I'm gonna jump in here for a bit because holy shit, from like multiple things. We'll start with Corey before I lose track of this, and then we'll go back to deal with the rest of you, especially Lactoid. But Corey,
My heavy hand.
like, yeah, it seems like, and someone else is touching on this as well. I think it was maybe a Grid. That like maybe we shouldn't be like prosecuting kids. Maybe we should like try our best, like in terms of our response to avoiding prosecuting kids. I'm not saying kids should never be prosecuted because kids can be doing some awful things, right? Like, but like it's interesting that like in your response you were like that's where you went to first, and you were like gonna drop the
No, I
hammer
don't
on
think I
this.
went to that.
That's usually my bar.
Wait. Let me address that. Ali, let me address that. Okay. Can I please speak? I don't think I went to that
you stole
first.
my whole flow, but yeah.
I said, I think I started off that I agreed with Lactoid's recommendation with the watermark. And that like, that's a starting point. I'm pretty sure I explicitly said that. But then I also said that I'm not sure exactly how to deal with the problem. But I'm entertaining the idea. I wasn't committed
To
to
lock
it,
up kids.
Yes, absolutely. There's times and places
Corey.
to lock up kids. Yes, if they're going to engage in adult behaviors and they're going to be generating potentially CP, it's like I think that should potentially be. I'm not
That's
committed
adult
to
behavior
it,
right there.
but that's why I said
So here's
I'm
my
open.
problem with
I'm
that.
open to running the experiment.
It's and it was in the article I believe I shared with you guys. So like I'll show you handles this situation slightly differently when we're talking about generating CP, right? Well, one way to do that is for like a 13-year-old girl or boy to take a risque photo of themselves and send it to their friends or partner or whatever, right?
Mhm.
Now should they do that? No, they shouldn't do that. Do they generate CP? Technically yes, but they don't prosecute them for that. This is something we do in the States, which is ridiculous, right? We end up prosecuting kids under the like as sexual offenders, deviant offenders, and that's awful. That's what we do here in the States, but they don't.
They rarely carry that. I don't know of any case in which they carry that past 18 years old, though. It could happen. I agree. It shouldn't. I agree. It shouldn't happen. But like, I actually do agree with like stopping that legally, just not making it ruin their lives.
Yeah. I mean, look, I can handle some legal remedy. I didn't say there could be no legal remedy, but like, one, certainly not jailing them, certainly not putting them on sort of registry, certainly not, I don't know, ruining their lives.
These laws exist.
No, I'm saying that, and I'm saying I don't want those laws. Like in Australia, like I think Australia handles.
Oh no, I'm talking about in the United States.
Do you just want
there are already laws that address everything that you guys are talking about.
I don't think that there are. Like, I'll defer
you
to
sure?
Lactoid, but
so if you are a minor,
let me just say what I want to say.
Okay.
So I believe you brought up in your opening statement, like California has the revenge porn laws. I'm not actually sure. I'll defer to Lactoid. But like, would the California's revenge porn laws actually cover that? I don't know. Based off
God,
there are other laws specific to minors distributing CSAM. That's
CSAM. Yeah, got it. Yeah. CP.
Some states have laws against underage sexual activity. I think there's a place for these laws.
There's already laws that address this. If you are under the age of 18 and you distribute any kind of child any kind of CP, you can be charged as an adult. Not always, but
Yeah,
you
that's
can
ridiculous,
be.
though.
And that's what I'm saying. Good. My whole point is saying that's awful. I don't want that to happen. In Australia, they don't charge you, according to the article that we read, and hopefully you guys read. I'm not.
No, I read it.
Yeah.
Beginning to
Okay.
end.
That's it. It's they were saying they don't do that. I don't want that to happen. I don't want
They
to
don't charge the distributor of the material with a
It's
crime.
something like it was like their own thing, right? Not like if a 15-year-old boy like takes pictures of his like little sister or something. I'm pretty sure then that'd be a different case. But like, hey, a girl boy like creates takes a picture of themselves. They don't get charged as like a producer of child.
Right. So this is, and the way the law works here currently is if you are a teenager, for example, say 16 or 17, and you take pictures of your 14-year-old girlfriend and you break up, and you're not really doing it as revenge porn, but you just kind of leak those to your friends, right? Like, oh, hey, look, this is what she looks like naked. Mm-hmm. Even if that gets out of your circle, you can be charged with distribution of CP.
Yeah,
you can as a 16 or 17-year-old. It depends on the severity. It depends on the motivation. It's like any other law. There's nuance to it, but the laws already exist to cover exactly what Ollie's talking about, exactly what everyone's talking about. It doesn't matter if they deep fake it or not.
Yeah, I understand laws. We have different laws, and I'm saying that I'd like a different way of doing these things.
In what way?
In the ways I've been saying, hey, I don't want kids to be charged, right? Like,
they aren't always charged under our.
I didn't say
laws.
They were always charged. I didn't say they were always charged. I'm saying that they can be charged.
Sure.
And
okay.
I think we have a lot of.
He's advocating for them not to be charged at all.
Yeah. Can I back? Let me back Prime. So here's an example that I guess
LexisNexis.
A 16-year-old boy was charged as an adult with multiple felony counts of sexual exploitation of a minor after sending nude photos of himself to his girlfriend. He faced up to 20 years per count and sex offender registration. He was being tried as an adult. There's something like very paradoxical about this. You're being tried as an adult for sending images of yourself because you're underage.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, that's dumb.
That's pretty crazy.
Well,
that's insane.
It's really crazy.
He didn't get found guilty of any felonies, by the way, but still, absolutely.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, it is crazy, especially in light of the fact that we just had a whole party bamboozle us with a deep fake of the president. Like that. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, no. I know you don't want to move away from this. That's fine, but we're gonna have it anyway. Like I'm saying,
no, we're really not going.
No, it really is a key thing. No, it's fine. I know you don't want to.
I have lots of more things to have to say.
Hold on. I mean, yeah, I have lots of things to say. Hold on. I waited. It's fine. You know what?
Yeah, but I'm not deepfaking the president.
I know you don't want to hear this, but we already got bamboozled. That's fine. I'm trying to make a point. Hold on. I let everybody else go. And I waited.
No.
Oh, you know, we go down to the paths all the time. Let me finish. Oh, hold on. Why can't I make my point here? You don't even know what my point is. You don't even know what my point is. You don't even know what my point is. I just literally got 4 words out. So
I'm going to cut you off.
That's fine. We literally just had this for years. We had this happen, right? And I see this going on at like a national level, at a local level, where it's like we're classifying things in certain categories and they're not, when they're all essentially the same. It's like I don't see any difference between what happened with Biden. No, we're not going to go further down to go into that. And the same thing as this is what I just described with, you have these people do parody. Like these are all like levels of extreme. And all we're doing right here is arguing over which level of extreme is too far. Like that's what we're doing. So like at what point does it just become ludicrous? We're just admitting that we're all hypocrites on this. Like that's what I want to know.
Great. So back to it.
See,
yeah,
that was
a case where there was a case.
I think the problem is Biden. What do you think, Prime?
I think it was Biden. I think that let's set the precedent.
There was a problem. There was a case that I'm aware of. It was, I believe it was like 4 like 12, 13-year-olds, like girls, who were having like a sleepover type thing, if I remember the story correctly. And they, they had their cell phones, they were taking like risque pictures, not even nude pictures, just like not even like risk, like, the things that girls do, right? Reenacting like fashion models, what the fuck, right? But like not nude.
and somehow someone became aware of that, and yes, they were charged. And I think, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong about this, this is a few years ago, but they were charged with, like, like a sexual offense, like producing CP. So it's crazy. Like when we have like not overactive, overreaching prosecutors who they could just, this goes down in their scorecard. Like, oh, I crack down hard on child porn, they'll campaign on that next time. And like, no one knows the details of the cases. They'll just say, yeah, I put this many sexual offenders away. So yeah, this is not this. We don't give these tools to prosecutors, and we don't have to. Now, again, I'm sure there are there might be times where it's clear that an intent is to create CP, right? That might be a different thing, but I think we can make some intelligent decisions. We're crafting these laws.
Should the Supreme Court justices that were featured nude in Jon Stewart's book America be able to sue Jon Stewart?
I have no idea
No,
what you're
of
talking
course
about.
not.
Well, I posted. Why not?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm consistent on this, of course.
Well, okay, I posted the link to an article talking about Jon Stewart from the Associated Press. He published a book, and I don't remember what year he published it. I think it was like 2009. Whenever.
Didn't South Park depict Trump naked recently?
Yeah, South Park has depicted Trump naked before, I think, and they've depicted other dictators like Saddam Hussein, other dictators. You see what I did there?
Ooh, Saddam should sue.
Yeah, like nude. And then Jon Stewart posted this book back in the day with the Supreme Court justices all naked, and this was before the deepfakes, but he just superimposed their bodies on old people. Now, that's basically the exact thing we're talking about. We're talking about deepfakes of these people nude. Should Jon Stewart be able to be sued by the Supreme Court justice for deepfaking their nude bodies?
Yes, absolutely. Let's do that.
Ridiculous.
100%.
Okay,
Throw him the slammer. Go ahead. Yeah.
So then, like,
I think that's a good question.
Do you view this as a problem that needs to be solved, or like it's not a problem, as in like you're okay with, if boys
it's not a problem. He's been saying it's not a problem at all.
No, I'm asking you, Prime. If you view this as since
No, I think it absolutely is a problem. Absolutely, this is 100% a huge problem. That we
so then, like, how would you approach it then? I'm curious. Then, how would you approach it?
Sure. Yeah. So how I would approach it is by prevention. First of all, there's multiple things I need to cover here. Like once this happens, the damage is done, right? We don't want it to get to that point. This is a piece of technology that's just going to exist out there. Even if it's not like the big technology companies, let's say ChatGPT locks itself down, right? Google Gemini locks itself down, and so you can't create these images, or it like the whole thing is a freaking watermark. If you create something like this, the whole thing's a goddamn watermark, and it's impossible to not know or whatever, right? Even if that was the case, there are going to be other smaller providers where you're going to be able to access this technology. It's just simply going to exist. Okay, right? Just like in the article, which I love that article, it was saying we wanted to prepare our kids for the world as it is, not as we want it to be.
We want it to be. I agree.
Yeah, exactly. So we can keep that in mind. And just like how we try to prepare our kids for dealing with like just the internet in general, with social media, with how to protect themselves, like when they go to parties, right? Like all these things, because the world's really dangerous. No, before that, please let me finish. But before, like just like we teach our kids to prepare them for all that, we have to teach them about this. This is a new danger in the world, right? It's a danger for them that they might experience, that someone might
teach who about this.
Do it victimize them with this. Our children. Teach them about that, but also teach them that doing this is wrong, right? It should be coming from the parents and should be coming from the educational system. We let them know, just like how we talk about alcohol, right? And hopefully we're teaching our young boys and girls, hey, this is how you drink responsibly. And if you find someone who is like incapacitated don't go touching them. You know, like they are in a vulnerable position. They can't consent, right? Doing that is a well, it's a crime. But also, even if it wasn't a crime, it's a deep violation of that person's bodily autonomy. We need to be talking about deepfakes in the exact same way.
Okay, so I don't disagree with anything that you said, and like if you want to like include that in the curriculum, like I'm all in favor of that. But then I'd be curious. Then it's like, you know, if this still is a problem, where I would take at least again, I'm not like committed to this, but as the experimentation of like to like actually bolster of like what you're saying as like a lecture or in the curriculum, it's like, well, there are legal consequences to this because like then what are you going to do when it's like despite all your education efforts, you still have, you know, this behavior occurring unless you're so confident that, you know, that type of curriculum is going to solve the problem, you know, in its entirety.
So I think I'm trying to avoid contact with the justice system as much as possible. So like one way would be like, hey, if you do like if you're in school and you do such a thing, that we either suspend you or we toss you out, right? In that article, a boy did that, and eventually like they tossed his ass out. Like in that case, they immediately expelled this individual. That's one way of doing it. I would avoid expelling it immediately, but like, yeah, we would suspend them. We would maybe like put some sort of thing
Is
in their
suspension really a punishment these days?
So
I want to ask you just like
I'm sorry,
Trump.
the people are in line. So
Okay, fair enough.
okay. Go ahead, Gibbs.
all right.
Not
Thanks.
Gibbs. Sorry.
I know you call me Gibbs all the time.
I apologize.
You always
okay.
look the same to you.
Okay, I knew what you meant. So a couple of things. First, I got to ask. So why has nobody? And this isn't my idea. My chat actually asked me. Why haven't you talked about making the devs, making it illegal for these developers and development companies to make it illegal for the AIs to generate pornographic content?
Well, you can't generate Muhammad, so they can do that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's absolutely it's
Bro,
it's
the
capable of
Muslims
being
got
done.
Gibbsy pressed. They got him
Boys,
pressed, baby. Sharia forever.
Okay, so my only issue with this, like, I don't like the idea of simply saying that's illegal. I'm not philosophically against it, right? I'm wondering how pragmatically feasible that is. Right?
I think it's exceedingly feasible. I mean, I just look at if I ask ChatGPT to do something really political, it's like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, and that sucks.
Yeah, I'm fine. Like what Lactoid said previously, I'm fine with adults creating porn, right? If that's what they want to do, that's fine.
Yeah.
Of other people, of non-consenting adults, like this is why I brought the John Stewart.
No.
You said you weren't okay with that. Right?
Oh no. Calm down.
Well, no, you said you didn't like that, right?
Calm down, and you'll understand what I said, because you don't understand what I said at all. I was quiet most of the time. You don't actually know what I said. Okay.
I was just curious about that because
well, you were the one who just said that. You said that Sue John. Like,
give me a minute.
Hold on, Grant. I got it.
Oh
You just
my God. Hold on.
You
let me actually state my point. Then you don't have to guess my point.
Well, because you just said you would sue John Stewart. Well, should they be able to sue John Stewart? Okay,
let
cool.
me state my point. Then you understand. Okay. So I'm saying, like, when I'm saying generated porn, like, you should be able to generate porn of, like, you know, generic individuals, rather than like, hey, like, this is the likeness. Let's feed this likeness into this machine, and then like then it generates porn, right? Generates deepfake. That's different. If you're saying, hey, come up with a blonde, right? Doing this thing. That's completely different, rather than saying, hey, this individual, I want porn of this individual. That seems like more of a violation. And I think that would be much easier to stop, right? Like, hey, you can't actually take in input like this to create sexualized images. I think that's an easier.
Sure. I think, again, we can make it illegal for the developers to do that. I think that is something that
exactly,
could happen.
Guys, let me, because I haven't gotten to it, because I got interrupted with Gibbs with his nonsense.
Okay.
So, like, the thing that I'm worried about on a practical sense is where is the line that clearly delineates between someone who is like 18, like below 18 or not, right?
Well, I meant just any pornographic issue, anything pornographic AI at all.
Yeah. Again, I'm against that. Like, I'm like, people should be able to do that.
Why?
But like, because people should be able to do it. Because
So if I want, so you don't, so then you're not Sue John Stewart. So
no, God, oh my! Did you not hear what I said? No,
you're not being clear. You're not being clear.
What did I say? What
okay,
did I say?
you want me to repeat it back?
What did I,
yeah, repeat what I said.
So first you said, which I said earlier was the line thing, by the way, and you said I want to know the difference between the line between when they're underage and they're not, right? That's what you just said. And my question was earlier, and you answered it. You said, "Hey, you be at least judge Supreme Court justice be able to sue Jon Stewart for them having the naked photos of them on there?" And you said
use their likeness.
You said yes.
What is the line that I'm talking about?
Cool. So he said use their likeness. Hold on, that's the point. But then at the same time, you just double dipped and said I should be able to make a generic porn of someone. Say if I told Taylor Swift generic porn, make me a nudie.
No,
of this
he said
person.
blonde. He
I
said
said
blonde.
Right.
Blonde.
It's a likeness.
It's a likeness.
It specifically said not that. You're not even listening.
So then they should be able to sue Jon Stewart, right?
Like, it's like you see like the blood starts pumping up through your ears, right?
I mean, I just repeated verbatim what you said.
You can't even hear it. It's just
I heard everything. I repeated verbatim what you said, Ron.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
Yes, I did. I mean, we could go back on the tape.
You don't know what the word verbatim means.
Verbatim means identical to what you just said. We could go back on the tape. I quoted you. Literally quoted you.
Literally don't. Okay.
Literally quoted you. But that's like, you know what quote means? Quote means the same exact thing.
Moving on.
Sorry. I know you guys are.
I want to get in the list. I want to get the list.
Yeah.
Well, I want to hear Lactoid's opinion on the naked photos.
I had just one more thing. I'm sorry.
Before then, hold on. I actually still, because Gibbs keeps interrupting me. I
waited until you were done.
No, I was not done.
Okay.
Not done. Literally, you mid-sentence, you interrupted me. Okay, back to it. The line of when is someone, not someone, but an image, a generated image, like 18, below 18 or not, right? There are like women, just like actual adult women who have bodies that, like, as we've stated before, who look young, right? If a generated image, right, is just generated and it like does not very big boobs, right? Like kind of doesn't have like a lot of hip development, right? Does that count as CP, right? And if someone had that, would that count as CP? Like, do we need does you have to have a minimum of C cups in the image?
I want to see the prompt.
I want to see the
prompt. I want the prompt.
It's
the prompt
weird.
that needs to be displayed.
AI uses an amalgamation.
Needs to be displayed.
AI uses an amalgamation of likenesses. So if you put likeness, it uses 50 stock photos and makes it combine. Hold on. But that's what AI does. AI takes a bunch of photos from the internet and it combines them. So it's using these actual people's likeness in your face.
But
it's not the person.
But it doesn't.
So how
it's not the person. If it's not a real person, then it doesn't matter.
How much not like the person does it have to be? It's like that's my point. So hold on. Well, that's why. Hold on. This is why I keep bringing up the Jon Stewart thing, because at the time he just body swapped them and put the head on, and you said, okay, sue them. Well, those are totally different bodies. That's the likeness of a consenting body and an unconsenting head. Okay, now we take AI. It's millions, thousands of photos of unconsenting people, and it combines them into something that looks like a person but is not that person. Where is the line then if you're not okay with one but you're okay with another? That's the problem.
Right, and that was going to be actually kind of my next question.
No, hold on. So to be clear, I don't think I'm not.
That's the guy does it.
I wish Scott was here for this thing, because this is his big thing. I think that the way that we are looking at AI right now is that, hey, it takes an amalgam of like books. Let's say I want to write a story, right? Well, it's looking at a bunch of books and it's using that to create something new. In my sense, it's creating something new. Just like how me as a human, I've read a bunch of books, so I'm going to create a new story. I'm going to be effective. I'm going to use those books in my head, right, to create something new. That is a new thing. So that creation is a new thing, just like an artist rendition of a human body. Yes, because they've seen a bunch of human bodies, they know what a human body looks like, and then that goes into the creation. So I think that's a new thing, right? And I don't know if I don't think that amalgam necessarily has anything to do with consent. In my opinion, I don't think that those things
Well, Prime, to rephrase his question, to rephrase his question, like if let's say I mix Katy Perry and Taylor Swift together.
Don't do that.
Katy
Let's
Swift.
just say I did that.
Be able to feed that in. Though.
I shouldn't be able to feed that in. But so 2 is not okay, but 1,000 is. Where between 2 and 1,000?
When you don't actually choose, I think it actually makes a difference. If you're
so you don't choose. So if I have the AI just look at, let's say I just like tell the AI generate a skinny woman for me. Now it's taking a subset of women, skinny women. Is that okay?
Yeah.
What if it was skinny women who tend to be in Hollywood in the United States?
Tend to be in
that's a type of woman. Sure.
No, I don't know how that even narrows
what,
it down.
What if
to be in Hollywood?
What if
who are in Hollywood? Skinny. Give me amalgamation of all skinny women who are famous in Hollywood. Now what is that? Too narrow?
Let's add one.
No, I'm good with that. As long as there's more than 3 people being amalgamated.
That's your rule. More than 3.
What if the AI spit out a video of a woman who was an amalgamation of age women that looked underage and looked like an underage girl?
I mean, that's what I was saying.
Went to your school.
Yeah, I want that prompt. I need that prompt now.
Stop! Don't even joke about that.
I'm just saying. What about that?
I mean,
what happens? Are you now guilty of CP?
That's what the question I already asked. I asked that previously. Like, hey, I don't know where the line would be where you could say that this image is CP. This one isn't CP, just because like the image
just happens with somebody like somebody at your school,
large hips or like whatever, right? But like I said, Ron, to be clear, like I said previously, right? I'm not like against the idea necessarily of like banning it. Like I think my problem was like from a practical perspective, like can we necessarily do that? But like if that okay, let me rephrase it this way. If it's the only way to stop deepfakes, that was really the only way. To put some hard ban, and then we could actually stop AIs from doing these things, because like when we put restrictions on AIs, like oftentimes those things don't actually hold. But like let's say we could actually factually stop it from doing it, then and that's the only way of making this problem go away. Okay, all right, that's fine. Let's go to.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, one, the problem is we're not going to be. You're not going to be able to train this out of like people, right? Because you're not going. Teachers aren't going to focus their time to training and teaching students not to use AI, and so like the issue is,
of course they can.
That's what their teaching is going to be, is like focusing on AI and avoidance of children memeing like that. That we can't have that be the focus.
No, you don't. Not memeing. Like
no memeing or making
those. Yeah, you're training deepfake nudes. It's a big difference from memeing, right?
Yeah. How as a teacher do you avoid your students doing that when they're at home?
No. You can't make them stop. It's part of the lesson plan. Like, hey, like we have to impress upon them how like what a violation this is, right?
Sure,
like,
100%.
It's about prevention from doing that. That doesn't mean like we don't have laws that can stop a person from not doing murder. Right?
No, that's not what I mean. Okay. That's not really what I meant. Is like you're putting this responsibility on the teachers when unfortunately, well, I mean, the responsibility isn't on the parents because there's no consequence for the parents for when this happens, and unfortunately, you can't enforce parents parenting. So, like, it seems to be the only reasonable like solution to this is preventing or limiting teens' access to the internet.
No,
in the
fuck
same.
That.
I mean, so then, like, no. I mean, there is no real solution. No. If you don't want to criminalize it, fine. You don't want to criminalize it, fine.
It's already criminalized.
You don't I mean, I understand, but like,
and that doesn't.
He wants to get away from. He wants to get away from further criminalization of children, which is okay. That's fine. I understand, but we can't criminalize them. Teachers aren't going to be able to prevent any of this, and we can't enforce upon parents. The only I know
we can actually literally make it a job, right, to teach our kids about these things. Like we can literally do that.
You want to
That's what we do with teachers all the time. We can build it within the curriculum. This is part of their certification.
That's not going to solve the problem, Prime. Being in the curriculum.
There's no law that's going to stop any problem, no matter what law we.
No, but we can limit the problem.
There's no way that we end.
We can limit the problem.
You could legislate. Hold on. like Grid was asking me about like, hey, why don't you just ban deepfake porn? But here's the thing: you can't actually do that. Okay, you can
'cause
ban
there's another person who's gonna make another app.
You can ban American
yeah.
developers.
That's
from
fine.
doing that, right? But any developer from
Mhm.
any other country that we can be accessed from the internet, you can
Yeah.
they'll still be able to do it. That's what I'm saying. Like you're
I
guys saying,
know.
okay, well, just make a law that bans the thing, right? And then that'll be it. Just say
No.
that you can't do it anymore, and then it won't happen. No, exactly not. That's why I'm trying to think outside the box, not saying, hey, let's just look at straight bans, because straight bans don't work, right? Even then, okay, well, I'll just leave it there. But like, yeah, whatever. You can spawn.
All right. So then, like, once again, I don't think teaching kids about the values of doing this is going to necessarily prevent this from happening.
Should we not teach
right?
kids
Because we've
about
had
the value
anti-bullying
of not?
campaigns.
Should we not teach kids about the value of not having sex with someone who is inebriated?
Mhm.
Should we not do that?
No.
Well,
Once again, we have that in sex ed. You're going to have
Okay.
conversations.
We have a part in our curriculum there. But hey,
Yes.
do kids still get raped like when they're drunk at parties? That's the thing that still happens.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, okay. But then why have it in sex ed? Because it still happens.
But doesn't that
Once again, so
Well,
education.
my
My issue isn't education. Like, right, I'm not opposed to educating kids against these things, but like, once again, you want to try to limit this problem, and that's not going to limit it at all. Like, I do think that taking action and taking away some agency from these kids online. Yeah, these kids shouldn't have unfettered access to the internet.
To teach kids not to sexually assault someone who's inebriated. You're saying that there's no point in doing that.
I never said that. I said I can see the value in that.
So is it preventative or is it not preventative?
It's like kind of preventative. It's an attempt at prevention.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you can have an effect on people's behaviors.
Now when it comes to something like being online
norms that they might violate, right? We can teach them to be better people, which we are supposed to be doing in schools literally the entire fucking time.
Yeah, but unfortunately they're spending a third of their time in school, and then when they get home, they're on the fucking internet. They're in a bunch of adult spaces. They're in adult spaces, associating with adults, learning and talking to adults, participating in adult situations and actions. They need to be limited to this access. Their parents aren't fucking doing shit. The schools aren't going to do shit. We actually need something to prevent this shit.
We should also limit them from having parties too, because at parties people might get a hold of alcohol, right? Like just in case, we should make sure they don't go to parties, because parties is a vector for exactly the things I'm talking about, right?
Are you going to be able to prevent 100% of things? No. But let's talk about real solutions to actually do some prevention.
I said that earlier, didn't I?
Yeah, I know you said that earlier.
Okay, great.
And so prevention, and
your real solution is just to say we should ban kids from the internet, right?
I didn't say ban kids from the internet.
True.
Give them limited access.
They should have limited access and supervised access. 100%. It's an adult space.
Because they're no.
Why am I sharing Twitter with 14-year-olds?
It doesn't look. There is the problem is what's happening right now. We haven't discussed it on this channel yet, but the legislation that has been pushed through Australia, right? Australia was where this started. We're talking about kids safety acts, where they're limiting them there, right? That is being used against the rest of us. Oh, this is a danger, and so we have to limit this. Or you can't access as an adult, you can't access this, or because companies are afraid to get sued, they're just taking down content left and right. That's a way to censor the entire internet for the safety of children. That's how that.
Or we just censor the children and we don't let the children online.
But that's how that censor. Hold on. How do you do
That's
that?
a radical idea.
And which companies are capable of doing this? Think about it. Just think about this for a second.
I mean, okay, so right now we're against porn bans.
You don't know what I'm going to ask you.
Have I ideologies?
Hold on, you don't know what I'm going to ask. I guarantee you don't know what I'm going to ask.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, like Twitter, right? Twitter has Corey. I see your hand. Twitter has the ability of having age restrictions, right? To have a framework to take in IDs, right? Evaluate those IDs, and make sure a person submitting that is 18, right? Whether it's IDs or some other form, right? Twitter can pay for that, right? Facebook can do that, right? What some other TikTok can do that, right? So these are the places you're talking about. Except, how about the rest of the internet? What about myblog.com, right? And myblog.com, primesblog.com, Prime talks about his sexual past, right? And it's a very long past, plenty of women, lots of sex. Yeah. But anyway, Prime talks about his sexual history.
So
that's
works
not
of fiction.
So Prime talks about sexual history. Hey, that's not okay for kids. Okay, Prime, you've got to make sure that only adults make it to your site. How do you do that, Prime? Well, Prime doesn't have the money to institute any of that, and so to avoid being hit with massive fines, right, or maybe even jail time, Prime doesn't just put it up there at all, right? That content goes away because I can't, as a individual or as a small business owner, or a medium business owner, I can't afford the infrastructure to do that. And so I ruthlessly get rid of anything that might maybe be considered risque for children. That's what will happen. So how do you address that in the laws that you're proposing, Ali?
Oh, I don't know. So like, yeah, unless it's draconian. I mean, I'm looking into how China has it for their gaming. I'm not saying that, like, once again, China's the blueprint we should necessarily follow, but I mean, they're doing something to prevent their kids being addicted to online gaming, at least it seems, and like limiting their 16-year-olds to like an hour or two a day to like gaming, like whatever it may be.
Let's follow China. Let's do that.
No, I mean, it's not so much that, like, yeah, let's follow China, but at the same time, like, are we just it seems like we're doing nothing, right?
I think that we're chasing a problem that doesn't really exist.
I can tell you that my kid, my 15-year-old boy, he doesn't actually care that much about most websites, except for he watches a little bit of YouTube and he watches a little bit of
who uses websites anymore,
right?
Well, I mean,
right.
People.
He watches YouTube and he watches like Minecraft or some shit.
Let's go to Lactoid.
The kids use apps, not websites now.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just like, I'm okay with banning this shit for minors because we already have the infrastructure there, like CSAM legislation, stuff like that.
I mean, minors can't smoke or drink, so.
Yeah, exactly. We restrict a bunch of shit.
No.
But
he's talking about something different, huh?
No, like, well, I'm gonna tie it into what I'm saying though, because I think
Good sounds like he's like banning kids from parts of the internet. Is that what you're saying, or are you saying, hey,
I have long proposed
for children?
I have both. I'm saying that we would ban deepfakes of children, and we wouldn't need to make new laws to do that. We would just put under the current CSAM laws. And then for banning children from entering certain sites, like, pornographic sites, I propose this solution. You simply have like your local DMV have like a temporary code that you can get by logging into your DMV. And they're going to have your information on file, you prove your identity to the government, not to the third-party site, because I agree that it's sketchy. And then the DMV will give you an anonymized code that any website can accept and prove that you're over the age of 18.
That's awful.
Okay.
I think it's actually a pretty solid proposal. I think it's pretty like, if some coder tells me it's impossible, then I'll believe them. But I think it sounds possible to me. So I think we should give it a shot. And it's definitely better than third-party companies having access to IDs, especially pornography companies. But the general conversation as to, like, I'm just going to be honest, like when it comes to like adults, or really when it comes to like nudes in general here, I mean, I would ban it for high schoolers when it comes to CSAM, just because even drawing it's illegal. But I don't like the rhetoric here of, well, you need like non-consensual deepfakes, as if I need your consent to draw you, as if I need your consent.
Take your
like
picture.
This is one step away from you saying, "Oh, are you did I consent to you undressing me in your mind?" It's like this is one step away.
I don't know.
It really is. It is absolutely one step away. I shouldn't need your consent to create a visualization or even a depiction of you. Like, now, if I'm trying to pass this off as the real you and saying, like, for some kind of like fraudulent purpose, this can be fraud, right? We already have laws against this. I'd be okay with us enforcing that, like defamation. Oh, you posted this, you are defaming me. You are making it look as though this is actually me, and thus defaming me when it's actually not, et cetera, et cetera. Like, there's already avenues here. But if I'm going to generate a deepfake image of like an adult, and I'm going to make it very clear, this is a deepfake, right? Like, I'm not trying to like use it for fraudulent purposes. I'm not trying to use it for defamatory purposes. I just want to see what Scarlett Johansson might look like naked, according to Grok. The fact that like this is some kind of infringement upon Scarlett Johansson is, I think, equivalent like to
Would it
thinking
be an infringement?
it's an infringement, like imagining her naked or drawing her naked. Men for decades have been cutting out like the heads of women they know and posting it on like swimsuit models from like magazines.
That's weird.
Like even like South Park, right? I don't know. I don't think so. And also, I've never done it. I still don't think it's like all that weird. South Park, for example, generated Trump who's naked, right? Oh, but that doesn't count because it's poorly, like, it's obviously like a fake.
Maybe.
I don't know, but I can't do. Can I do deep fake nudes and just call it parody?
Well, you brought up something really interesting.
What if she has a clown mask? What if Scarlett Johansson with a fucking dunce cap?
So Scarlett,
now is it okay?
I got one for you. Hold on. Completely off the rails.
We're not at the same time, guys.
Scarlett Johansson's a really interesting one here, right? Because she and I'm going to tell you why.
She's very interesting, Ali. Shut your hole.
I'll tell you why. She actually has I think it's Norwegian. There's a Norwegian girl that looks just like her, and there's a Margot Robbie one that looks just like her.
Porn stars that look like celebrities.
Hold on. Now, what's interesting here is what happens.
Oh shit! This is a good point from Gibbs. Keep going.
One of them gets to go into porn. Can Scarlett Johansson now sue her because her likeness is trademarked by Disney?
What if she wears makeup?
Hold on. Yeah. What if she
to look like Scarlett Johansson?
She literally does cosplay.
Both
the Margot Robbie one. Hold on. The Margot Robbie one and her look like her within a like 99 percentile difference. They fooled like actual like AI like programs that have looked and seen. They can't tell the difference, right? Now, if this person, hold on, if this person makes porn and someone like Scarlett Jo who owns the likeness to her image, could Scarlett Johansson sue him? I would say there's arguably a case, and I really want to piggyback off something.
I think it's dumb.
I think it's dumb, but I think there could be a case. I do want to piggyback
but there
off
shouldn't be.
Something Lactoid said, though, and it's not the thought crime thing. I don't know if I agree with the thought crime aspect of this, but I do find it interesting that, like, we're sitting here going, what's the fundamental difference between the AI, which takes an amalgamation of hundreds of photos and puts them into one, and me, based on my skill level, say I'm an extremely good animator. And I decided to make a like hentai of Donald Trump fucking Meliana, right? And it's very accurate. Like, it's like a very well drawn, but it's still a cartoon. Y'all would all probably say, oh, that's fine, right? Like, what's the difference between using someone's likeness in like a clearly cartoon manner versus like this other thing? I feel like we're going down this path where there's like all these lines that are very similar, and it's like where is the line?
I gotta attack on one last thing to my point. I think the makeup point is a good comparison. You can get people who can wear makeup to look just like Scarlett Johansson. Yep. There are porn actresses that do this. Yes. They will dress up to look like a particular character. Mm-hmm. Isn't this like, how different is this really from deepfaking? But I don't want. It's really not all that different. I don't want this point to get stuck on like the inability to draw lines here, because although I think that is a problem, I do think that there is a major problem when it comes to like actually being able to differentiate this stuff from things that we find to be acceptable. I think that the actual premise is like, to start with, like, kind of fucked. Like, in the same way that it'd be fucked to try to limit someone's artistic license to draw somebody, it's also fucked to like try to demand the level of control to where I have to now ask permission to generate an image of somebody. This is crazy. Go ahead.
Okay. So to draw. Hold on 1 second. We got Gibbs. I said he was in line. Then Corey. Well, then
I said Ali. I said most of what I want to say. The only thing I would want to add here is, with the artist thing, I think that we're really venturing into some pretty murky water, because Okay, at first it's just like consenting to like sex stuff, right? That's how this stuff always starts. Like, okay, we don't want oh you making a porn of I don't know Papa Gibbs, like and make deep fake. Okay, I didn't consent to it. That's bad. But what's the difference between that and like I don't know a deep fake Biden or a deep fake Trump saying like rants scandalous shit? Like people would say, oh that's fake news, it's bad. But if someone does it just to see as like a parody or to see as a polling, that people can see the difference between the AI and the real person, or even use it for a scientific purpose where you're sitting here trying to like get the AI to mimic how they speak perfectly. I don't know what the line is because I feel like that line is going to keep moving. That's what kind of the nature of all these things are. And maybe that's my biggest concern.
Okay, Corey. I'll respond to these things later.
Well, so Prime, when you were engaging with Ollie earlier, you'll bring up examples of like, we want to teach. And I agree with the overall sentiment of like prevention is overall a better strategy when you can actually do it. But then also at the same time, like you were using examples of like, you shouldn't. You should not, touch someone or engage with someone sexually without their consent, or that someone's asleep or drunkenly passed out. But then we still have laws against that, as in like we teach them or we try to prevent it through teaching. But then we have laws in terms of their actual consequences and teeth to actually engage that behavior. So I'm curious then, in that vein, if let's say a 16 or 17-year-old, non-consensually sexually assaults another 16 or 17-year-old, like they're passed out drunk, pretty much this is your typical scenario, but it's 16, 17-year-olds. Is that criminal behavior to you or not?
Yeah. Like I said, my goal is to avoid, especially when dealing with kids, the justice system. I don't.
Can I just add on? So, and is suspension and expulsion a good enough consequence for you in that case?
Like I said, my goal is to avoid contact with the justice system, because that can spiral a child. That could have otherwise been saved with different sorts of intervention. In general, so when we're talking about specifically sexual assault, right? And Corey, I know you understand this. That our justice system tends not to take that stuff seriously in the first place, right? That if that is our only option, then it's like, okay, well, the girl has to testify, like go to the police. Hopefully the police will take her seriously. Oftentimes they don't, right? Hopefully they'll actually prosecute. Oftentimes there's not enough evidence. And then even if there is, and it is taken to court, then she might be slut shamed. Or is she wearing blah, 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 right? Like, is she actually evil? The whole thing, right? Only to have a slim chance of getting a conviction in the first place. So this is not a great solution. Now I think we should have it as a tool, right? I wouldn't say take that away, but like I'm saying, that should be at the end of the line, right? I think we can unleash our creativity for other sorts of interventions. So actually, Leah, let me lean into this. This is a good question. So I really want to focus on what I mean by this. Going back to that article, which I think was a fantastic article. It talked about like the mentality of the boys. It talked about how the boys didn't think that this was a problem in the first place, right? So part of that's just like education, right? Teaching them, like I keep saying, like we should start teaching these kids that this is a problem because they don't understand, right? So, but there was I believe in the article it talked about an empathy bypass, in which these kids thought of this as just a game between their friends, right? And they kind of cut the feelings of the girl, of the victim, out of this, right? They weren't even considering that someone on the other end might have a problem with these news, right? The empathy bypass. I thought that was a really, really good idea. Really, good way of framing this issue, right? So, like, a way of doing this, and not just for these things that happen in school, but also things that happen with adults, is rather than relying with a justice system, which
as it should, right? Requires like hard evidence, requires good testimony and all that stuff, right? To because we're going to jail a person, right? When you state violence against them, then we should the level of certainty must be beyond a reasonable doubt, right? Unlike there, we could actually just like have like community interventions. We can say, hey, something bad happened, okay, right? This person was violated. Let's talk about it. Let's bring in the victim, right? Let's help you, the victimizer, understand how you hurt this individual. How like what was wrong, why it was wrong that you did this, right? And it forces them to confront their actual
what's up, Spartans?
the crime, right? And the consequences of that, right? These interventions like this, they won't help everyone. Certainly, right? They're like monsters out there, and they need to be put away. Fair enough. But for so many of these like awful interactions that people have, right? That would solve it. Once people understand that they've done wrong and they've hurt someone else, most people are capable of empathy and sympathy. For those individuals, it solves so much of those issues, right? It changes their perspective. That's what I would love to put in place. But as well, okay, and I'll give you this, Corey. Then maybe at the end of that, we still might have to have some sort of last resort use of the justice system, because no other remedy might work.
Well, yeah. So I want to unpack a little bit more. Like, I don't really disagree with any of your like recommendations. But then, and you mentioned the article of like, there was this gamification of like many young boys. They didn't see it as a problem because yes, they saw it as like mostly like a game. And the example that they used, like, it's like trading cards type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then also in the article, they also mentioned that like when they attempted to like actually, punish these children, or like, they alerted the parents and they're alerting the parents in the hopes that the parents would do something. And they encounter like, oh, the parents didn't see it as a big deal. And if anything, they're like, not my child type of thing. And so it's like, what are you going to do in those situations?
You can make it a requirement. You can make it a regulation within like the school system. Like, this thing happens between our students. This is not an optional thing, right? This is how we respond to these situations. So the parents get
and then what are you going to do if, okay, the parents just going to take their child out of school and go to a new one?
Okay, let them do that, but their record follows them. Sure, you can do that.
Sure, but I don't think that's a good enough consequence then, personally, and that's where I think the law needs to step in. If you can bypass that and just like move your child and go to a new school, that's not good enough for me personally.
Okay, but like that is an option. A parent can take their child out of school, but for the vast majority of people, they don't take their children out of the school for these things. Yes, at some point, someone could try to avoid these rehabilitative strategies. Sure, right? Whatever. Someone can also like flee the country to avoid being arrested. That's the thing that happens.
I don't think that's fair. In terms of the burden of a child being relocated into school versus a child fleeing the country, I hope you recognize that the burden to actually
I know I do recognize, but my point is that yes, these things can be avoided one way or the other. But I'm saying that doesn't mean that these solutions aren't useful and won't help the vast majority. And again, I even gave you as is the path of last resort or whatever, right? An option of last resort. You could involve the justice system.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
You need to respond to something.
Sorry.
Yeah. Is the justice system at your door right now?
The justice. I've been running. Are
they in the room with you? Do you see them?
But yeah.
Yeah. In terms of like. So I agree with you that for a certain subset or maybe significant portion of people, like if you explain to them and try to actually make it clear that they did something wrong, they will like be able to engage. But then like again, I don't know how, let's say, that makes the potential victim of like someone who's. Do you think if that's not satisfying to someone who's been sexually assaulted at the more extreme end?
The justice system rarely is satisfying to victims.
I don't disagree with that either.
Yeah. So like, but I'm saying, look, so many the vast majority of sexual assaults aren't reported. Why? Because of all the things that I laid out before of how the justice system actually works, right? And because oftentimes the people who violate you are people that you know, people in your life, right? And you don't necessarily want to see them to go to jail. You want to find other paths to like have some sort of rehabilitation or remuneration. Like this is one of those paths, right? To say that rather than like going through the whole thing with the justice system and probably not getting justice or like hurting someone you still care for, right? Literally the people who sexual assault you, people you might still care for. Rather than doing all that, hey, let's find a structured way to deal with this as a community, right? Have people have some sort of intervention so this other person understands what they've done, right? And might find ways to actually make it up to you.
Yeah, I'm still just concerned with this subset of people that's just not going to.
No, I've already, but Corey, I don't know why you're pretending you're not hearing me. I've already said that we have the last resort would be the justice system.
So that was like as the last resort. Like, is this like 2 strikes and then justice system, or like after we try your intervention of like try to get people to empathize and confront what they actually did is wrong, and then after that doesn't work, then they encounter the justice system. I'm just curious into like how much of a last resort is it?
Maybe I don't know, maybe 2 strikes or whatever. I think that's something to be worked out exactly like what that looks like. But especially when we're talking about kids, we should try to do try to take the path that leads to better outcomes, leads to the chance of keeps the option open for change rather than strict punishment, that we can put them on the right path rather than derailing their lives and making them criminals or whatever. Like,
okay, sure. What about alternatively, I don't know whether this is feasible or not, I don't know, but what if like we potentially give the victim an option of like they can either press charges or they offer your option of like whatever, going through the whole what you just laid out in terms of a rehabilitative process. What if someone actually like wants them like criminally charged and prosecuted? Would you deny them that?
I actually might put that. And I actually don't know the best way to do this because like for instance, like the idea, and Lactoid's very much aware of this, right? The idea of pressing charges, right? Like it's kind of like a phantom idea. It's like the prosecutor decides if they're going to like go ahead with charges, like not necessarily the victim, and the judge decides like what the punishment will be. Like the victims can put a victim statement, impact statement in, but like they don't decide like how many years a guilty individual gets. So maybe we should do the same thing there, where like put it in the hands of a prosecutor and they like evaluate a case by on a case by case basis. Or
I mean, this is what's already happening. You spent a lot of time talking about what already exists.
The process I described does not exist.
Absolutely, it does. It literally does. It literally does. Minors are not prosecuted in every case. Most minors accused of distributing CSAM are handled in juvenile court, where the focus is on rehabilitation rather than punishment.
Well, that was the situation that was not the situation that I outlined. That was not the situation that I outlined.
You guys just spent a lot of fucking time.
No. That was not the situation that I outlined. I was actually talking explicit sexual assault.
Yes, CSAM. That's exactly what that is.
CSAM is not sexual assault.
He's talking about
encompasses
CSAM.
Okay. So Grid, maybe you should listen.
Maybe you should listen, and maybe you should read some of the material that's provided out in public before you start talking about things you don't know anything about. Do you know the most common issue that they have are sexting laws?
What is my original scenario? Can you repeat it to me, Mr. 9 million?
No, because you put me to fucking sleep. I can't.
Okay, so you weren't paying attention?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Lactoid, as potentially an objective arbitrator, was Grid listening to what I was saying? Did he accurately describe?
I started out listening to you, and I kept wanting to interject that
he admitted that he didn't. So I don't know if you really need me as a judge on this.
Yeah. So okay.
I think he quite literally said you bored him.
And that's fine. Then don't comment and just shut up.
You were wrong. If
I
you're
found
wrong,
it.
you're fucking wrong. Just admit,
No.
hey, yeah, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I don't understand your
we
legal.
were literally not talking about what you were talking
You
about.
were literally
Can I-
talking about options for minors who do these crimes.
Well,
What
I
crimes?
do
What
do
That's
crimes?
literally what you just spent
What
the last
crimes?
20 minutes
What
talking
crimes?
about.
talking about?
What
Literally
I-
what you spent the last
What
20 minutes
crimes?
talking
What crimes? What
What
crimes?
crimes?
That we were talking about?
about the deep fake
No,
porn.
wrong, incorrect.
Okay, what were you talking?
incorrect.
All right, give it to me then. Give it to me. Because
Why
that's
don't
what
you
I heard.
rewind the tape, okay?
Sexual
Can I-
assault. We were talking about rape.
I asked a question.
That wasn't the only crime you were talking about.
No, we were talking
Actually, no,
about rape.
that was literally the situation that I outlined, Grid.
Specifically rape.
So y'all talked about that, and then we talked about. And
No,
I see.
before you go, Gibbs. Like for now, we've
Okay.
been waiting. So then we'll go to you after that.
Yeah. I just wanted to respond to Lactoid because his argument was a little. So the reason there are porn stars and OnlyFans girls who look like celebrities, and some of them even look like they're under 18, right?
Yeah.
So like
Less good.
yeah, less good. I actually don't have a problem with the ones who look like celebrities. The issue would be is if they advertise themselves as celebrities, as said celebrity doing it, right? Like that would be but that's that.
What if they said lookalike? What if they said like I'm a Scarlett Johansson?
As long as
lookalike?
lookalike is advertised, that's fine.
That's my only point.
No, wait.
This is my point.
Wait.
But this is the
Wait.
deep fake, right?
No. So like this is my issue with like do I have a personal issue if someone wants to sit at home and deep fake their neighbor and deep fake a porn of their neighbor and use it? No, right? I don't have an issue with that. But like I don't have an issue with that because it's never going to leave that room, right? That's the idea. Is this individual isn't going to do it. But the more and more
what if they post it and they say this is a deep fake?
What if they get hacked? Somebody else. Hold on. What if they make it and someone else?
Wait. Before we move on to hacking, what if they post it, like intentionally post it and say this is a deep fake, just like the porn actors are posting their lookalikes and saying that it's fake?
No, so the porn actress doing the lookalike thing. Unfortunately, I don't know how much I fully like give to this, but like the celebrity kind of gave up their right. They became a public figure, right? People are going to cosplay them. People are going to whatever. Your neighbor isn't going to do that. And once again,
so can I deep fake celebrities? So can I?
Again, individually into yourself? Yes. As
no. Hold on. There's an inconsistency here. You're saying that the actresses. I'll explain why. You're saying the actresses who look like a celebrity, they intentionally look like a celebrity. They
no. Some of them just look like the celebrity.
Oh, okay. Some of them. Okay. Either or. Either the people who look like it or the people who make themselves look like it. They are generating public content and they're putting it out there. Okay.
Yes.
What is the difference between this and me deep faking a celebrity and putting it out there?
So
if I disclose in both cases that that's not the real celebrity.
In deep faking, you're literally using their likeness, which is licensed, right? Versus if someone looks like someone, you can't literally license your face.
With makeup, you look like them. If I use, like, let's say there's a woman who used enough makeup and she looked like a spitting image of Scarlett Johansson. How is this different than deep faking her?
Lactoid could look like Charlie Hunnam.
It's possible. I don't know who that is. I hope that's flattering, but let's assume that's true.
I believe they're English.
How is that different than deep faking this person? As long as in both situations you disclose, I'm not really the real dude.
Because one to an extent is like a parody or a mimicry, right? It is just
no, the purposes for both is to get your rocks off.
Being a lookalike actor isn't illegal. Looking like someone isn't illegal.
If you're doing porn as it. If you're if you're a pornographic actress, if you're dressed up like Scarlett Johansson with the makeup, so you look like a spitting image.
Posted her lookalike.
I mean, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how to define the difference. It feels like there's a difference to me. It feels
here's Scarlett Johansson's lookalike, and here's Scarlett Joe.
Between the person generating. What's up?
You can't tell these people are different people.
Yeah. So if this woman, we look at the sign, look in the group chat. If this woman did porn as Scarlett Johansson.
She does porn.
Okay, she does porn. Better. She does it. Is she violating Scarlett Johansson's likeness?
I don't think she is.
Thank you.
If she's using Scarlett Johansson's name, which
okay, some of them say
Scarlett Johansson look-alike doing porn. I don't think they're allowed to do that. I don't think they're
I think you're allowed to.
use
I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure you're allowed to do that.
I'm pretty sure their names are licensed. I'm like pretty fucking sure.
No.
Someone like Scarlett. No, I mean, listen, I'm not a lawyer.
So every tabloid who puts like the name of a celebrity that was just caught with their pants down, they got to pay a nickel to every single.
No, I don't know what the tabloids can. Well, that tabloids can defame you, right? They can just say whatever the fuck they want.
They can defame you. I don't know how, but they can still use your name.
What is the law actually that allows paparazzi essentially to defame you, but like you can't sue them?
So okay, there's two different standards. Yeah, so there's if you're a public figure, there's a higher standard for defamation.
Fair.
You have to prove actual malice, right?
Okay.
If you're not a public figure, then you don't have to prove actual malice. So this is why when you said like, oh, there's a difference between like your neighbor and a celebrity, I don't think in this case there's really that much of a meaningful difference, but I could maybe see the argument that like there's a lower bar for celebrities. But if there is a lower bar for celebrities, okay then I should be able to make a deepfake of Scarlett Johansson just in the same way that this Russian chick can dress up like Scarlett Johansson. It seems identical.
I don't think she's dressing up like Scarlett Johansson. She just looks like her. Like,
no, she also her content looks like Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, that's
sure.
Yeah.
She also makes it.
She does like
she makes an effort to dress up like her. Yeah, exactly. She does the fucking outfits.
Wait. She's doing what?
Her career.
So she's cosplaying like Black Widow, which is a character that Scarlett Johansson.
No, her career her career is just doubling Scarlett Johansson for like actual personality, like shows, and
apparently porn.
And porn.
Is what Prime said.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
Has the porn as a Scarlett Johansson. Like I just
posted another article.
It probably says Scarlett Johansson gets railed. Maybe parentheses look like maybe. It probably doesn't even have that.
I don't know what the titles are.
I don't know the titles are either. But look, if your point is, well, the title should make it clear that this is not the real Scarlett Johansson, I can get on board with that.
Yes.
Okay? Because now it's clear, but I got the same standard when it comes to deepfake. If you want to make a full-on deepfake of all the celebrities, the whole Avengers having an orgy, and you just put deepfake in the top corner, boom. I'm okay with it at that point.
Steel man me because I can't find the words that I'm looking for. What's the difference that I'm feeling about someone sitting at home generating this, right?
Getting the propaganda versus feminist propaganda. That's the steel man.
Fuck feminist propaganda. I don't give a fuck.
Well, I want to talk about that.
Versus I don't care that this lookalike does it, right? And I feel like it's okay. Can you, steel man, what this issue I feel is? I want to know if you can put it into better words than me.
I want to talk about the feminist propaganda
because there's something eerie. Listen, I don't care if someone wants to cut out a picture that they took of their neighbor and put it on the fucking swimwear issue of Sports Illustrated. Whatever, that's fucking fine. I think it's creepy, but like you're doing it alone. But I do think there's an issue to like when we're with this shit gets out, and now there's scandals across different neighborhoods of housewives just having fucking their deep fake porn, and then their husbands killing these people.
Well, that's why it should be. That's why it should be.
Guys.
Well, let me.
Hold on. But what if it's not an actual intentional fake of that person? Because you can enter in. I entered in a prompt once. And what the AI art software threw back at me was literally a picture that resembles a streamer that some of us know, and I'm like, holy fuck, that's weird.
So I actually something I also want to address. I think that's an interesting problem that you've just talked about. That's something I really want to talk about previously. But before then, I want to let Lactwood respond to Ali. Then I want to go to Gibbs, and I want to jump in because the last thing I want to respond to, including what Grid just said. So Lactwood.
Okay, Ollie, what I think might be happening, and this is because I think that the two scenarios are very as close to one as I could possibly imagine. What I think that might be happening, well, I think maybe the feeling that you're getting might be, and I mean this with all respect, I sort of feel it too, is not that there's actually a principled reason for these celebrities, but we all recognize this is going to happen with celebrities because people actually care about it. What we're concerned about this is being so available that it might happen to us. I think that might be the actual concern that you have.
They could just ask me for my.
I think if you get a wife, I think if you get a wife and this happens, right, because you are a streamer, right? Let's say it happens to you. Happens to your wife. Someone figures. I think you're going to take way larger issue with it. And I don't think you're going to be okay with. Well, I mean, people said it was deep fake, so I guess it doesn't really matter, right?
I would
Like, I
have
think
the
they're-
same issue.
yeah.
I would have the same issue if somebody was like talking shit about my wife, right? Like I wouldn't like it, but I'm not going to have a law
I don't
go
know if
knock
talking
down their
shit and
door
someone
and
deep
put them in a
faking your wife are
cage.
the same thing.
Look, I'll be very honest. Like like people make memes about streamers, including me, that like kind of is on the border. As long as it's clear that it's fake, I couldn't give a shit what people make about me. As long as it's clear that it's fake. And that's my standard that I'm going to apply to everybody else. As long as you label it a deepfake, as long as you make sure it's clear that the Avengers having an orgy is actually just a deepfake of the Avengers having an orgy.
What if they do the opposite?
Go ahead. Go
what
bananas.
What if they
I don't
claim
know.
it's a real photo and it's obviously fake?
Well, then there might be like an interpretation that you're being ironic.
Okay.
I think you're more okay with your fake nudes being out than a woman being okay with their fake nudes.
Well,
And I think the effects are
maybe
different.
women are too sensitive then.
The effects to men are way different than the effects to women. The effects to the reputation of men are way different than the effects to the reputation of women. And I think that comes to a lot of play that you're not taking into consideration.
I value freedom of expression. I'm sorry.
Hold on, y'all keep
really like
the masculine position of me.
Y'all keep skirting around something here. Y'all keep skirting around something here, and I've noticed y'all frame this like as a feminist like outcry out front with some people on the right. I don't know that you did. I don't know if that's actually true. And I don't know if it's actually the feminists that should be the ones that are outraged about this. If anyone should be, the people that are going to get blamed initially. I don't know that it's more likely. I think the scenario where a man or a boy makes a deep fake of somebody is much more similar to what Ali has described, where you're like, oh, so-and-so's hot, let me deep fake them, and I'm going to go crank one out at home, and nobody's going to find out unless I get hacked or something, right? They're probably not going to share it around because people are going to think that's weird, right? What I think is more likely is we're going to have women who want to do the burn book from the Mean Girls, who are going to make, oh, Jenny's a slut, and they're going to deep fake a video of Jenny sucking off Bob or something,
Fucking
right?
True.
And be the ones perpetrating more of it, and then they're going to include like another kid or a boy at school, and they'll deep fake both of those two in, and that's who going to be the bigger perpetrators are. And I think that's something we should talk about. Is going to be a big issue. I think that's like a
demon of teenage girls.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be much. Men who are doing this and like doing it maliciously, right? Like when I think malicious things, I think underhanded, mean tactics. When I think of people making fake images, it's not like men who are going to do this for revenge. I'm sure there are some, right? But I find it much more likely for it to be the teenage girls that are going to be doing this sort of thing. And now you have like teenage girls going after each other. Are y'all still like gung ho about going after them in this way? I don't know. I think that's kind of an interesting conversation that we should have here. And then the other thing I wanted to touch on was, you say this, Lactoid, with the parody thing, and like this is why I keep coming back to the Jon Stewart thing. It's the argument is the consenting adult, right? And I guess with Jon Stewart, they didn't have AI, so he had consenting models, and then he had superimposed the people's heads on afterwards. And then he put on, if y'all remember this, he had like a little plastic sheet with the robes on. Then you flip the robes off, and you could undress them item at a time, right? And it was humorous, clear parody. And I'm a little concerned though, and I think you might be able to answer this as a lawyer. Like, what is the current like line between like a revenge porn and a parody? Say like, I don't know, let's use Destiny because he's in the news right now. He wanted to make fun of one of these girls, right? And
bad idea.
Bad idea. This is why I'm using him, because obviously he can't be this dumb to do this, right? But say he wanted to like make fun of, I don't know, Pixie, and he made a like parody book called I don't know, DGG America, right? And in the book you could peel back the layers of his accuser's clothes, but they were AI generated. Now, would that be illegal, or would that be covered under parody, Lactoid? And I think this is a valid question, because I think this is a line.
That would be harassment, probably.
Well, okay, would it be harassment? Because like, where's the line?
Borderline. I think that is that very, very. I would, if I was someone's lawyer and they did that, I would be losing my shit.
What if it was
horrible idea?
Girl, what if it was like, I don't know, let's just say some female commentator he had never had any of his accusations from. Let's call her.
I don't know if I think it should be legal.
She interviewed him, and he made it of Angelina Jolie. Would it be harassment then?
I don't think it should be. I think here I'll go right to the most extreme example then. If he made a book with like a peel back thing, just like Jon Stewart did or whatever, with all of his accusers, okay, I would think that'd be in poor taste. But I don't think it should be like a sex offense.
What
I don't
about
think
the
that
chick that Trump's head off? Remember her, Kathy, whatever her name was?
I don't.
Wait,
yes,
wait,
you
Lacto,
can make
version.
it. You can make it about anybody over the age of 18, and I'm going to say that it should not be a sex offense.
like, would it be defamation at least?
Yeah, but what would it be? Yeah, defamation.
No, not if
would it be
it's clear.
harassment?
If it's clear it's not them, then it shouldn't be defamation.
Well, so I
either.
guess what the question is, what's the
Wait,
line?
Lacto,
What's the
the
line? And this is why I brought up that
result of
well, hold on. What this case right here I'm bringing up with he used his accusers, right? What is the line that differentiates it from either harassment or differentiates it from like, parody? What is the line? Because clearly if you made DGG America and did this, most people would go, this is parody, right? Like, so what is the line, that's a harassment, parody, or what is like here in regards to this?
So I mean, again, I don't see parody as being particularly applicable here because the law on the deepfake stuff is so undeveloped that I don't know if there's like a parody exception to some of this stuff.
Sure,
like
but about like other stuff.
yeah. So there's a parody exception when it comes to like copyright, but I don't think that would really be like
Supreme Court
consideration
justice
here.
thing was parody, right?
Well, they're saying it's like I'm sure like as a defense, John is going to say, well, this is just a parody. But even if he was actually insulting the justices, I don't think that would be like illegal. Now, if he managed to acquire news of them without like that at the time, this is 2003, that probably wouldn't even be illegal, if I'm not mistaken, back in 2003. It's pretty recently that these laws are kind of coming into be. So the only question would be like harassment. What is the line with harassment here? And that's a tough question. I don't think it should be harassment, but harassment's kind of this kind of vague area. But I don't see this as all that different from like.
Wait.
So rappers will settle their beef often by spitting sick fire over a based baseline. Okay. They'll get on the track and they'll just, Eminem's out there. He is absolutely demolishing Ja Rule, right? It was brutal, right?
Yeah.
Was that harassment? No, because it's art, because it's expression.
No, because they both
And-
agree and engage, right?
Well,
both agree to engage. Did Ja Rule say that? You could insult me,
Then
you
you
can
can't
call
have
me.
an instance where shit gets taken a little bit too far with like the Drake Kendrick situation, and you have Kendrick.
There was no
Lamar
legal harassment there, was there?
He's legally suing. He's suing UMG right fucking now. They're in
For
a
what?
huge contention.
Yeah, and it's a
for
frivolous
allowing
lawsuit.
Kendrick Lamar to call him a pedophile by
It's a
name.
frivolous
That's a fucking
lawsuit.
Super Bowl.
Prime is
bro.
calling it First of all, Prime is calling it frivolous.
It is
Second of
frivolous,
all,
but still.
okay, so it's frivolous. So hold on.
Wait,
so
but
I trust
still,
my friend Prime then on legal issues.
Wait.
And Prime says that it's frivolous. So I'm agreeing with him.
Once again,
By the way, without even hearing the story,
the judge says.
Okay,
We'll wait
okay,
to see what the judge says. But there's
Well,
gonna be, but there is something.
it
to
shouldn't be
said.
frivolous. It shouldn't be illegal, even if some hack judge decides that Drake is correct in his lawsuit. I don't think it should be a criminal offense to like diss your opponents in a rap song. I don't think it should be criminal.
Call them by name a pedophile at the Super Bowl. I think is a little bit.
Okay, that's
insane,
maybe that's
no?
maybe that's closer. Maybe that's closer. But he did it over a rap. It's different.
I
right?
understand,
It's-
but we're getting away with it.
You
from
can get away with
saying
anything if you put it in a song.
But the lawsuit is this guy went on the arguably the largest stage in America.
What if he said it was a joke? What if immediately after he called him a pedophile, he said that's a joke?
We already have that. It's art. Where they're already in contentious beef. We understand all this.
I'm asking you. No, I'm asking you.
Mhm.
What if he said what if he made the pedophile accusation like A minor, just kidding, but like fuck you. I don't know, something along those lines.
Like, he's saying it was a joke. No, would I think it was okay? No, but I can understand the argument you're trying to make.
Okay,
However,
should he
the
be able
argument
to get
Drake is
sued?
making is the defamation, right?
Right,
And so,
right.
like,
but would it be defamation at that point? Even in the most wildest argument, if he immediately says like yes, that's not actually true. Like at that point, it's not defamation.
I don't know. I don't know if you get to just like skirt out by saying, "I was kidding, my bad," right?
Well, if it comes across as somewhat sincere, I think
it comes out pretty fucking sincere that he meant it. Anyways. So the harassment.
Well,
you're saying that this wouldn't meet the threshold for harassment if like a large streamer took these women and like what's called the thing. What if it was like a coworker though, right? Like
said, hold on. I said that it shouldn't meet the legal standard for criminal.
Okay, shouldn't,
for
but like
criminal harassment.
with a coworker that would change.
I don't think it would meet the standard for criminal harassment. And if you did it about a coworker,
I make a deepfake about a coworker. Should I be looking out for harassment?
Ali, well, you can lose harassment in the employment context is different than criminal harassment by statute. So like workplace harassment is going to be governed, like that's going to be like EEOC level usually, and that's going to be, the standards for that are much lower than criminal harassment. Okay, so while you'd probably get in trouble for like workplace harassment, quote unquote, that doesn't mean that you're going to get in like legal trouble for actual criminal harassment by doing such a thing. Again, even if this is the case, which I don't think it is, but I don't want to speak definitively on this because I don't want somebody fucking doing it and then like getting in legal trouble and then coming, well, lactoids, no, just don't do it. Okay, just generally don't do it. But
make the flip book, Destiny.
I think that there is a difference here because like if I was to make, well, by the way, this is obviously true. Like I can like watch porn in my home and that's not a criminal offense. I can watch porn in my car and that's not a criminal offense. But if I watch porn at work, that can be harassment and I can be fired. But that's not necessarily criminal, right? So there's like a difference here.
Necessarily be depending on your work.
If you're watching
might not
porn
necessarily
in a shared cubicle with someone, they can sue you for sexual harassment.
They could sue you, but that's going to be a civil claim, not criminal.
Okay.
So
they might be watching porn together. How do you know?
So I want to jump in.
That will not save you from a civil lawsuit.
Yeah. Okay. So there's so many things that have been said. Fuck.
It's his copy of Big Blue Martinez 3.
But one thing before then, hey guys, if you've been enjoying the content, consider supporting the channel, sub to the channel, give subs if you're on YouTube. Sorry, Twitch. If you're on YouTube, consider a super chat. We put super chats on the screen. We'll address your super chat if you have an issue, if you want to. If there's a comment you want to make, want us to address. Consider helping us out on super chats. Super chats are great way to support the community. So if you're liking this and want to see more of this, send a super chat. But again, if you have a question or a comment you want us to actively address, right? How do I keep up this level of sexy? I mean, that might be something you want to know, right? Put in a super chat. We'll talk about it. But thanks so much. All right. All right, so you guys talked about a few things here. Celebrity lookalikes. So there was this case, and I feel like our friend Grid should know this. Maybe even Gibbs. I don't know. Gibbs, have you lived in Texas your whole life?
Yes. Well, I mean, yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So I was.
He didn't quite remember.
I mean, his origins aren't in Texas.
Listen, I've lived here.
Texas.
I've lived here my whole life, but I have spent extended periods of time outside.
Oh yeah, in the military. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, I'm not in the military, but
I'm sorry. You traveled around the world, like you.
Yes, I've traveled around the world. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll leave it there. Anyway, the case is that like there was this old case years and years ago, where there was this individual who looked like a spitting fucking image of Chuck Norris. The absolute spitting image. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So absolute spitting image of Chuck Norris.
Yeah, it was me.
Oh, okay. Okay. And not only did he look like Chuck Norris, right? And he specifically like styled his beard and stuff like Chuck Norris. He was into martial arts. Chuck Norris's whole thing was martial arts. And he I think if I remember correctly, he opened a dojo, right? He opened a dojo and he had these billboards around Texas where it was his image. And I think like a Western theme, when Chuck Norris' show was still on, like the
Walker, Texas Ranger.
Walker, Texas Ranger.
Yes.
Yeah, this was a big deal when this happened.
So like he had these things all over Texas and Chuck Norris sued him, right? If I remember correctly, I believe he sued him, and he lost. If I remember the story correctly, and I think he should have lost. Like sued him for using image because the guy happens to look like him, right? Like he also owns his own image and likeness, and he should also be able to use it, right? You don't get to supersede this other person's image and likeness, right? Like in that case, like you could stop this guy, like the imposter, from doing anything that's at all publicized, right? It's like, well, I don't apparently he went into he became a hedge fund manager, right? And I don't like hedge funds, right? And he's got his face on billboards, and I don't want my face associated with that. So I get to sue him and he gets to pull it down because I've taken his face, right? I own it now. He doesn't. So I agree. And in his advertisements, he never said like I'm Chuck Norris, right, on those billboards. And so because he didn't make any fraudulent statements, as far as I remember, if I remember the story correctly, then he won that case. And so when we're moving on to the what's her face, the actress we were talking about, the redhead,
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson. Thank you. So much.
They also those dojos were racist too. Was part of the lawsuit.
Were they? Oh fuck.
Yeah, and so he was like, they have my name on there, and they're not letting black people in, so we're suing them. That was a big deal. This is really the lawsuit. Yeah.
Iko, a good friend Iko, he says, when's the first I'll put that up on screen. When's the first deep fake of a Prime Kai panel? Hopefully
Right
soon.
now.
Oh my
I'm
God.
a
Iko?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him.
Holy shit.
I've actually been defaked every time I've been on.
Yeah. Like whatever it is, as long as like it accurately captures me as the ripped Adonis that I am.
I also like the goatee, Prime. The goatee
Prime,
is looking good.
true.
It's not
See
really
yourself-
like a full
see yourself
beard
in the
type
best
thing.
way,
It's not
in the
really
best
goatee,
light.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's coming in. It's coming in.
It'll be gone by next week. I should have done it earlier.
Is this
today,
like
but I
is
didn't
this like
see
Evil
this.
Prime, like from like Star Trek?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, according to our friend Lactoid, right? Prime is always socialist, so Prime is always evil.
So this is capitalist Prime.
Capitalist Prime, yeah. But thank you, I
Forget Optimus Prime. We got Capitalist Prime now.
Head of super chat. Thank you so much. Any case, so talking about the Scarlett Johansson one, I'm not sure if the one, I really can't tell. There might be more than one look-alike for her. I'm not sure. I know there's one out there that does porn, so I'm not sure if that's the one. But there is one. And since then, she's actually changed her body to be far more voluptuous than Scarlett Johansson, right? Definitely take advantage of the BBLs, and I approve. In any case, yes, she should be able to make porn. There was a case where this okay, I should stop going back in the past for these things. But anyway, the point is that this has happened plenty of times, and I think they should be able to do that. I think that's separate from the things that we're talking about necessarily. And I'll deal with that in a second. Then it's about like, you guys talked about like, if we just put a label on this, right? If you just label it.
Watermark.
The watermark, yeah. Then people will know. Now, I can trust my friend Lactoid to be able to read. Lactoid has proven a consistent ability to read and do the barest amount of critical thinking, right? You can do more than that, but I'm just saying you reach that level.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right?
Especially when it came to those Oscars guidelines, he was totally on the mark about those.
I was. When you take my full statement into account, I absolutely was.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
yeah, 5-10 minutes after the fact. Yeah. When you
Without anybody correcting me, I said the full thing.
Yeah. You want to go through the VOD together?
Without anybody correcting me, I went through the full thing.
Corey loves his VOD reviews.
I mean, I corrected you. Right?
No.
I mean, I corrected you.
No.
I corrected you on that. Right. Okay, move on.
No. I can give you a play-by-play, as in he saw me that I was going to comment on it.
Hook his brain up to the.
And he preemptively said, "I got to go before Corey."
Preemptively.
Yes,
is that what we call it now?
Absolutely. You want to
giving a full statement? Lacto gave a full statement preemptively before Corey could correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. You want to go?
Go ahead. So you admit that I did say the full correct statement before you said anything, correct?
I was going to call you on your BS.
Is that correct?
You are
yes,
correct.
That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. Go ahead, Prime.
So okay. So look, I believe that a person of Lactoid's intellect, right? And I think he has a high intellect. I think a person of Lactoid's intellect could see a watermark and go, "Oh, it says this is a deep fake. So hey, this is probably a deep fake," right? I think people of his intellect could accomplish that. However, other people have not been able to reach this level of neural firings in their cranium, right? So we had a video of AOC talking about it was something about I think Palestine. Maybe you might know what I'm talking about here, Ali. But you don't. Okay. AOC on the floor of Congress talking about saying wild things about like one Palestine, but also something about like talking about someone's body or something, right? She was saying some wild shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was obviously just like from the content, it was obviously this is fake. And also like it wasn't even like the best fake. It wasn't like her lip movement wasn't even completely matching or whatever the fuck, right?
Still,
and it was labeled like this is a deep fake. And our fucking what's his name? The brother of the Cuomo, who's on the news.
Andrew
not
Cuomo?
Andrew Cuomo.
Chris
Huh?
Cuomo.
Chris
And
Cuomo.
Chris. Yeah.
Chris Cuomo on his show put this up saying, well, this is an example. Like, look at AOC and how horrible she is. Can you believe
we have the
she
Tim
did?
Waltz deepfake this week where he was dancing down the
And
escalator, and people
I'm
were
gonna
like,
get to
"What the
Tim Waltz
fuck is
thing.
going on?"
Or, and then
I
the
know.
Ghost of Kiev. Remember that?
And,
Sam Hyde.
So you're the Tim Waltz thing. So anyway, like, so he goes on his whole rant about
The fighter jet?
AOC. He goes on, guys, on. He goes on this rant about AOC, and then has to be pointed out to him that he was wrong, right? And then after that, he comes back and says, "Well, actually, it was still AOC's fault that I got fooled, right? Because she might have said some crazy shit like this on the floor, nonsense, right? He was so fucking embarrassed." And then, of
That's right,
course,
blame
like, it's
women.
been alluded, Joe Rogan didn't manage that level of critical thinking when he fell for the Tim Walz dancing video, which was completely bullshit too. Obviously a deep fake. So putting a label on it does not necessarily solve the problem. And secondly, and I think Ali said this previously, right? That doesn't solve the problem in and of itself. The point of the deepfake, especially you're talking about like kids, like doing it to their classmates or the teachers, right? Is not necessarily to fool people. It's to embarrass and humiliate, and that can happen with or without that label. So
And that should be that should be legal. It should be legal to embarrass and humiliate people.
It's okay. And then that brings me to my third point. Then
You better not beat me in this argument because I don't find that humiliating.
You don't think there's a standard for sexual harassment? Like bullying and harassing, sure. Like you can bully, like make fun of meme, but like when it comes to like deep faking nudes,
we can understand.
I don't think that should be considered
law
sexual
in
harassment
high school
necessarily.
And
In high school?
counselor
In high school, yes, I already said that, but it's different.
Counselor, the
Those are
law
children.
makes a distinction between types of harassment. They understand like physical harassment, right?
Yeah.
They make a distinction between physical harassment and sexual harassment, and with the idea that even though you can be not just harassment, sorry, like let's go for abuse, right? Like physical abuse and sexual abuse, even though you might be physically less hurt from a sexual abuse than a physical abuse, we know there's more psychological damage that happens when someone is sexually assaulted, right? Even though they didn't get their ass beat.
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about like in terms of analyzing the level of harm.
But I am talking about that. What I'm saying is that when we're talking about this sexual type harassment, right? Using images, it has an inordinate psychological effect on the victims, especially if they're women. Right? It simply is the case because
is this Russian chick? Is this Russian chick sexually harassing Scarlett Johansson?
Because the consequences of that are worse for women.
Is Shumskaya sexually harassing?
It simply is the case. No, she can't not using her own face. That's her face.
Makes a deep fake of herself.
She's putting makeup. She's specifically and she's wearing it. Stop. No, Gibbs. She is specifically putting on makeup and wearing outfits to look like Scarlett Johansson. Is she not?
Hold on. There's actually something here on top of that, right? So OnlyFans girls have recently been accused of deep faking their own shit. I've seen this being there. If this girl deep faked herself looking like Scarlett Johansson, that's basically the same thing as deep faking Scarlett Jo.
If that's her face, then she can do it.
It's
So
her
okay.
face with makeup. It's her body
No.
with that outfit on.
The one that I'm
That's
thinking
also
of,
Scarlett
maybe this
Johansson's
is a
face
different
with
one, but like the
makeup,
one I'm
so,
thinking
like-
of doesn't
So
need
she
makeup
wears
to
if she
actually do
wears
it.
if she wear
Um,
the one I share, I don't think she's wearing that much makeup.
Okay,
She's
don't
wearing-
wait. Stop. Don't be obtuse. So
No, if
whether
she dressed up
so
like
stop.
Black Widow and made a
No,
porn of herself,
Gibbs.
what's the difference?
Gibbs, please. Don't like we're being obtuse when we're saying, well, the truth of this argument rests on whether or not she wears makeup. So
We brought it up.
She is obviously wearing makeup, but even if she's not, we can absolutely conceive of somebody who only looks like Scarlett Johansson if she puts on makeup, right? And so the question is, in this situation where somebody's putting on makeup to look like Scarlett Johansson and either just putting out their porn directly, is that sexual harassment, or following Gibbs' example, if she makes deep fakes of herself, where it's now identical to a deep fake of Scarlett Johansson, is this sexual harassment? I think that if you're going to use the term harassment here as a bludgeon to silence expression,
directly, it's silence. Silence
what's happening. That is what's happening.
Yeah, the freedom. Yeah, the freedom fighter
That's right.
here.
Freedom to
No, I will
make
address
Warren
Warren has been
Warren.
protected as freedom of expression.
I'll First Amendment warrior here. All right.
I am. True.
Yeah, okay.
Unironically.
Lactoid.
I will take that title. I will wear it with pride.
Then they come for your guns. Then they arrest you for
Lactoid,
making
would you be
deep
okay
fakes.
so if you
That's what
were like
happens.
Kendrick Lamar, right? If someone started calling you like about and you'd be like, oh, I guess so you have freedom of expression.
Again, hold on.
They're just
My
joking.
whole standard. My whole standard the whole time has been like, if it's clear that it's not true, then it should be fine.
Yeah, but what if
And
what if
then
someone
the
makes
response and the
joke-
response
yeah.
and then the
What if-
response
what-
to that from Prime was, well, it's not about the truth of the matter. It's about
Oh,
you're
wait.
doing this to humiliate somebody.
Wait,
If
yeah,
somebody,
yeah.
and to me,
What if I make the joke and then it's clear that it's not true.
you
'cause I'm
should not be
joking.
arrested for that. That should not be illegal.
Sure. Yeah, wait. Okay, so and you're just okay with your reputation being besmirched.
Hold on. It's not. I'm going to say that you said that you were wrong, like you were lying. It was a part of the joke or whatever.
Yeah,
and
but, but it doesn't matter what if people believe it. Like, oh, this guy, he's just saying it's a joke so he can get away with it, right? But it still can tarnish your reputation, whether you want it to or not. Whether you claim it's a joke or not. Whether I say it's a joke or not, the action happened.
Look, there comes a point. There comes a point here
when Kobe like got away with
You're-
his rape
you're-
case,
you're
right? People
right.
still call him a rapist.
You're well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
again, you're using bad examples because a lot of these people are like doing shit they probably shouldn't be doing. But like, there is could people mistake something? Do you have idiots who mistake deep fakes? Do you have boomers that mistake deep fakes? Do you have people that read too much into something that somebody's saying? Could I be insulting you, and then somebody reads in way too much into what
You're
I'm
using
saying,
somebody
and comes
and
across
versus reputational damage.
and comes across with an entirely wrong point of view? This is all possible.
That
We
equals
cannot
reputational damage.
set the standard for freedom of expression at the lowest common denominator, because some dork is going to misunderstand everything, and it's like, well,
Stop
technically, this
individualizing
person.
this.
I'm not. what are you talking about?
There's
What are
a
you talking about?
collective.
Explain.
If there's collective
get back
damage,
to-
you can sit here and claim that one idiot misrepresented. But the issue is that
Even if a bunch of idiots do. What are you going to do? You want to ban disinformation? You're going to ban people being wrong about shit? There goes all religion. Ban it tomorrow then.
Well, maybe we should.
Oh,
but,
no evidence.
But I agree with you. We can't like work on the lowest common denominator. But just like the point of me bringing that up was that damage can be done regardless, right, of a label. Not necessarily that like we should, like our laws should account for that level of stupidity, because that's just endemic to human beings, right?
Yeah, with the Scarlett Joe, Prime with the Scarlett Joe one, right? I think is interesting because if that girl made a deep fake of her dressed as Black Widow as a porn, and like instead of like making the OnlyFans content herself, just because she was lazy, and then so, like it's not the first site that shares it says this is AI or this is likeness. It's the like 5th, 6th, 200th site
Then
that
Disney can
reshares
sue
it.
her.
And then is Disney going to sue her for using her likeness to
So-
make porn? Like
So,
what is
yeah,
what is
I'm
the
gonna-
line here?
I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'll deal with it directly. And you're not gonna be satisfied with this answer at all. I'm just telling you that right now. But
I'm never satisfied.
with our social conventions, right? Like makeup is an acceptable form of like
Deception.
deception. Yes, no, deception. No, I'm with you, friend. You know, I agree with you. Yeah, it's an acceptable form of deception. where you can put that on. It can significantly alter your appearance, right? But it still becomes your appearance. And if that is the case, and then you do think yourself, I don't know, man.
Any more than an AI filter,
Yeah,
Prime?
I think it's all lies. I agree. But
But I guess the question I'm
but
having.
that's like an edge case.
criminalize Sephora
Well, hold on.
tomorrow. We're
I guess
sending
what
the
I'm
troops
saying-
in.
But that's
Here, let
an
me
edge
try to
case that
narrow
I'm not
it.
particularly concerned.
Well, let me try to narrow it though, right? I guess in the scenario I'm describing is that there I think that there's the likelihood I read out there is that like with 6 billion or 7 billion or 8 billion people, your likelihood of finding one person that looks identical to you in the world or is genetically identical or nearly genetically identical is pretty like likely, right? And so if someone
More
who
likely if
has
you're a celebrity.
yeah,
I
more
look like
it-
young Joseph
Sure.
Stalin.
So if your likelihood out there, if someone is genetically like 99% the same or looks 99% the same, and they do this, especially like the Scarlet Joe thing, if they put it out there, you're just arguing that the damage is done, right? And I guess I'm saying is, well, I think the damage would still be done even if it's this person's own content because their content or their face is also someone else's face. So it's like damages them.
I hear you, friend.
I don't know
I'm
what you do
saying
here
that,
on that.
like with these edge cases, for those edge cases, then like there's not much we can do. As I was yelling at Corey before, and Ali, them being wrong, that like you can't stop all of these cases, right? Like I'm not trying to create a system that necessarily stops all harm. I'm just trying to stop the majority of harm. And there aren't that many lookalikes. They exist. They absolutely do. And there aren't that many people going around like putting on such a great amount of makeup or doing like plastic surgery to the point where they can look like a celebrity and then
There are a lot of people who do that.
But I'm like,
edge
with
cases,
that level
though.
of harm, right? And especially that's like dealing with like just the small population of celebrities. Not that I'm saying that they deserve harm, but like I'm saying that those are unfortunate edge cases that we can't always account for. But we can do other things to reduce that level of harm.
Let me ask you one more.
But the thing I want to
before you move on,
just
one more edge case. All right, so there's recently
Correct.
Drewski did whiteface and went to NASCAR, and he looked, and they found a redneck that looks just
yeah, but
like
Drewski's fucking
Hold on.
hilarious.
Right, hold on.
right?
Hold on. Get a kick out of this. They found a white guy that looks identical to Drewski in whiteface, and now Drewski wants to make him do blackface and see if he looks like Drewski. If this guy did that, if this guy did this and put out something, would that be okay? Is that
Yeah,
racist?
because it would be
Is
funny.
it racist?
As
our only black representative,
I don't know who
racist?
this Drewski person is.
know who
And
Drewski
You don't know
is?
who Drewski is?
I'm no clue.
Kind of a big
He
guy.
was
What
he
are
was
you
on
doing your
Bloomberg.
time
No
off?
clue.
He was
You're
on
just
Bloomberg
not
the other
on
night.
the internet.
I have a blooper. I don't know what that is.
Bloomberg. He was on
Bloomberg.
Bloomberg. Give it
Bloomberg.
I knew that we were fucked financially when I saw Drewski give it financial advice.
I don't know who it is. In any case, they can decide for themselves. Like I would advise all you white people to not do blackface. Don't do
Damn.
that. That's not
It
a good
wouldn't
idea.
be blackface.
Well,
Not
Drewski
so-
doing blackface too.
It would be artistic. It would be good. Drewski's.
Have fun. I don't care about this. All right. So back to the thing I wanted to talk about. All right. Look. So
What if I was wearing whiteface this whole time? Sorry, go ahead.
He's
I can
actually
see
a
that.
clown.
that would explain you being late all the time.
That's why he
right? You were
likes FUBU.
actually black under
I
all
can see that.
Right?
I mean, I'm like,
Right?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So look.
Now we're asking the real questions.
About going back to porn for a second. So I had a big
yes.
argument multiple times, right, with Doobie and others, specifically about the production of pornography, like hand drawn, like pornography, that has minors in it, right? My case is that, like, even though that might be distasteful, and it's fair for people to not want to, be a part of that, look at any of that stuff, right? I don't think that should be illegal because there's no harm actually done, right? Like, it's not a child who's been, photographed or whatever, right? Like actually been exploited. And like if adults want to look at something like that, then whatever. This all came up like during the Bosch situation, right? So that's always been my stance, is that like that's fine, right? Even if distasteful, but fine. But then the conversation goes on. Okay, what about with our increasing level of graphical fidelity, right? And we started this our conversation like years and years ago before the outbreak of this generative AI boom, right? So like, but like we're talking about like this increasing level of visual fidelity, like is there at some point where it becomes a problem? And I said, well, no, because as long as it's being created and not exploited from someone, then it's fine. Doobie gave me an argument that I just, this one I can't shake. He talked about how and this is like really bad, like this is like a really, really unfortunate thing I'm about to talk about. It's like what is it? Not safe space. Trigger warning on this one, because it's not good stuff. He talked about how among like pedophiles, there is content that they make. There's videos of kids who've been exploited, and they've been like passed around the internet, and there are quote unquote favorites, right? These kids have been exploited maybe years ago, but like their videos get passed around. And what they're doing with this generative AI is they are like uploading the kids' images and then putting them in new situations, right? So this kid could be an adult by now, whatever, but they're putting them in new situations, re-victimizing them. Vile stuff, right? And that like stopped me dead in my tracks. I had never considered something so disgusting, so vile. And like the idea that, hey, this person who was maybe victimized long ago and still understands that there are images out there, now finds out that these predators are like are using them again, like, and like the amount of psychological damage is just, I can't accept that, right? So talking about realistic images, yeah, I would say there's a difference there, right? There's a difference when we're talking about that. When we say we can upload a person's image and just do whatever we want with that. So we were talking specifically about children, but we could see that also happening with adults who are sexually assaulted, right? Where they could be re-victimized over and over and over again on the internet. That's something I desperately want to avoid. And so what do you guys think about that? Like we can put children aside because everyone's going to agree children is a no-go.
Right. But the thing is, so to address the argument specifically, I think that the only reason why the argument works is because we're talking about children. It's relating to children, right? And I've already said I'm okay with CSAM being illegal. But if we try to take that context and put it in like the idea again of just like making deepfakes of an adult, I don't think it tracks.
Well, it tracks at least for harassment. I know you don't want to do like, but at minimum,
it's not harassment at that point.
Well, it's not. I mean, okay.
Well, so Prime, you mentioned kind of the inverse of what I said earlier, right? We know that the police I'm not sure if they do it here, but I know in some European countries, they use the pictures of former victims that have given them their consent to use those pictures to try to catch criminals going forward. Okay. I think that's sad. But they've already got the consent from the former victims, and the victims are like, well, this is already out there. Let's try to do some good with it, yada, yada. And kind of the scenario I described earlier where they find a woman that looks young and they deep fake it down. And this is somebody that's not experienced the victim of crime. They're not a victim, and they're basically not going to have that mental stigma. Instead, they have the idea, hey, we're catching people. Or they use an undercover cop and the same thing. They just, do it down, pretending to be a minor, and they try to go meet up with him with the, makeup lower, like make him look younger, and then all this stuff. Like I on the one hand, yeah, what you're saying is heinous and disturbing, but on the other hand, it kind of shows you almost the good uses for the tool to catch these evil sick fucks that are doing this thing.
You're specifically talking about like an investigation done by
an investigation
investigators.
group. Yeah.
So I've been looking at I'd heard about
I mean, you were talking about like the
Cruz-
inverse, like the bad guys doing bad things, the good guys using like kind of questionable methods to
so
get them.
I had heard of hold on, the thing is you brought up specifically like some streamer getting
Yeah,
some
that we-
amateurs to do this. That's a different thing, right?
Sure, but
specifically,
they work with
we're
lawful law
talking
enforcement.
about.
That's what I was told.
I mean, okay, if that's the case, then I'll leave it at that. But if we're so I had heard of Ted Cruz's Take It Down law, right? But I hadn't read it myself. So I've been trying to read it. I'm almost done the whole thing.
Is that because they were calling him the Unabomber?
No,
That's hilarious. Or,
no.
Okay.
No, it was the Zodiac killer. Zodiac killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
No,
the
no,
Zodiac
That was
killer, bro.
awesome.
I'll
was
put the
awesome.
text of the
Stop
law.
making fun of me.
I put the text of the law in our group chat. So I haven't read the whole thing. And I'm trying to get through the whole thing. Like so far from what I've read so far, I'm like halfway through. It seems like a good law. Which is awful to say about Ted Cruz doing anything correct. He's the despicable individual. But actually, the way this law like came into place, he was actually this is in response to a girl, a high schooler who was being victimized in Texas from Texas school, and there was no way to like get her images removed from some sort of site. I think it was Snapchat, if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong about that. And so like that legislation seems like a good idea. And in that legislation, oh yeah, this is why I brought it up. It has an exception for law enforcement, right? So I'm okay with law enforcement doing the things law enforcement does. Like law enforcement should be able to, under guidelines, look at child porn, right? Like it comes on some perpetrator's hard drive. They should be able to look at it and make some determinations and stuff, right? A juror should be able to look at it if it's presented to them in a trial. So we can make these exceptions. It's fine, but like that's not really like the heart of the issue, right? Those are just edge cases where we have authorized individuals who handle people working for like Facebook, right? Facebook has a whole army of individuals that maybe they used to. They might have gotten rid of them because of AI, but they at least used to have a whole army of content moderators, and they looked at a lot of fucked up shit that people put online. Craziness that people will upload to fucking Facebook and TikTok and Twitter and all that shit. It's wild, right? But those individuals obviously should not be prosecuted when they happen to come across these things, especially since they often, like Gibbs was saying, work with law enforcement. They send those things off. So yeah, we can have exceptions. Sorry, that was a long way to say that.
Yeah, I oppose this law. I oppose Section 2A.
Oh, well, look at that, right? So I finally support a conservative law, right? Finally try to reach out to my friend Lactoid, like, oh, you're a Republican, right? Hey, I'm going to reach out and I'm going to support a Republican law, and we can't even build a bridge here. Look at you.
Oh wow, Republicans have been really good on sex
I covered
lately.
this in my opening. The Take It Down law is actually addresses, I think, pretty much everything we were talking about. So I like it. I thought it was good.
No, it doesn't.
What part do you not like?
It doesn't address 2A, specifically the part where it criminalizes the happenings with adults. The minors thing, I think, is fine, and in fact, I think that the penalties 3B should probably be more. It seems odd to me that like creating CSAM is only 1 year worse than creating deepfakes of adults. That's kind of a weird way of framing it. So I would be okay with removing 2A and 3A and then increasing the penalty for 3B to 5 years or something, and keeping 2B. That's how
2B is for minors, in case people don't. Not looking for 2B.
Sorry, I forgot. Yeah,
no problem.
So I'm in favor of keeping the part that criminalizes it towards minors, eliminating the part that for all the expression things that I've already explained my argument for.
I guess
what is harassment to you? Just real quick,
I'm more MAGA than you are.
What meets like a harassment threshold?
Yes, come to the winning party.
I think harassment would have to be like repeated behavior intended to that is specifically aimed at disrupting somebody's life. That would have to be like the intent. So like if I am creating shit with the specific intent to disrupt your life and I'm using it for that purpose, I think that could potentially meet harassment. But if I'm creating the deepfakes for my own enjoyment or other people's enjoyment, even if I'm spreading that around, if I have no intention of causing you distress, I don't think there should be harassment.
Wait, wait.
Let's see how close I am.
In what world would spreading deepfake porn of someone not cause distress? Like how do you like?
I said intended to, like you are intentionally trying to cause.
How do you not intend to? What other outcome?
Because you're doing it to jerk off, not because you're doing it to jerk off.
I said releasing it, like the spreading and sharing.
You're doing it to help other people jerk off.
What if they don't spread it around on purpose? But like, let's say they get hacked, right? And it's spread around. Now the person that's deepfaked up gets damaged. The person that got it hacked from them and released, and there's proof that they didn't have an intent. Could both people
what
sue
if Destiny happened?
Hold on. I'm going with somewhere with this, right? So say they get hacked and it's leaked and it's going over to wherever, right? That's bad. That person obviously could sue somebody, I'm sure, or like have whatever gone, criminal charge, whatever. I'm not worried about that. Could the person say like let's say Bob deepfakes Sally from down the street and it gets released? And could he then, if they ever catch the person that hacked his PC, could he like sue them for damages for ruining his reputation and whatnot?
Potentially, as in a release of him.
He's like,
labeled as a creep because of the deepfake that he didn't intend to release and he got hacked. Potentially,
or Sally sues him for damages due to the fact her reputation is ruined.
Well, Sally would sue the hacker, and that's what I'm saying, right? Is that if this does get out and this person does
you would bear bear responsibility for it to some degree, right? So say like Bob made the porn. And
you're creating
like
Joe
hacks it and releases it. Well, Sally would be able to go, okay, I'm going to sue Bob, even though Bob didn't release it, because he is the creator of it. So he has some culpability. And I did get damaged by this. And then Bob could sue, like, I guess the other guy if they ever catch him. But would he have some sort of legal recourse? Like, I'm interested how that would work.
Lactoid?
I'm sorry, I was looking up the definition of harassment because I was right. And how it's currently defined, and I think that's how it should be defined.
Would you be able to sue, like, say, okay, here's my scenario. Say, like, Bob creates porn of Sally down the street, right?
Okay.
Joe hacks it. It gets released.
Okay.
Sally would sue, obviously, Bob at some point because he created it. He's the original creator, and her reputation
what these people would want. Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And now, could Bob then turn around and sue? I'm sure she could also sue Joe for hacking it and release it. But could Bob then turn around and sue Joe as well for defamation and damages and shit? Probably.
Maybe, yeah. Again, none of this is current law. So the question is, like, how would you want the law to be? You could probably put something in that would allow the person to sue. Hey, I never intended that to get out.
Legal defense of this.
So I shouldn't be able to get in trouble. But like, so for example, the definition of harassment here, at least in my state, and I think this is probably going to be pretty similar across all states, is whoever with intent to harass or intimidate another person does any of the following is subject to a Class B forfeiture, strikes, shoves, kicks, or otherwise subjects the person to physical contact or attempts or threatens to do the same. Pretty straightforward and reasonable. And then subsection B engages in a course of conduct or repeatedly commits acts which harass or intimidate the person and which serve no legitimate purpose. So it requires both intent to do it and that you do it. It's got to be ongoing and it's got to serve no legitimate purpose. Making nudes of somebody does not fulfill this standard of harassment necessarily. It could, but it doesn't necessarily. Not in the sense that I'm talking about.
Hey, so I want to ask you something. What if instead of their likeness, I copy their likeness and then alter their likeness?
Okay.
What if I took information from them? Like, what if I got into their computer system somehow and took information from them? By took, I mean copied, so they don't lose anything. I simply copied some information of their private information, and then I altered that for my own purposes. Like,
I think hacking into somebody's private space is illegal.
I know it's illegal, but I'm saying, should it be illegal?
Yeah, I think so.
Should it be illegal to copy someone's information? Like,
if you hack into somebody's private space, like that's very clearly like their space, like just like breaking into somebody's house, you're going in to somewhere where you are expressly not welcome. That is entirely different than me on my own property. This is basically IP law. me on my own property generating something that has nothing to do with going into your private space. This is entirely within my private space. This is the argument you guys are making is the same argument that like IP chuds use, where they say like, oh, I made a house first. None of you should be able to copy house. I own house now. No, you don't.
So no,
I'm doing.
I also wanted to address this. So before I go back to the other thing I was trying to tease out, I'm going to sneeze. I apologize, everyone. So I didn't. I wanted to address this previously, but I didn't get the chance to. I was dealing with both Gibbs, honestly. But no, I think I actually agree with you on this, and it's something as a point I was going to bring up at the start, but I didn't get a chance to. That like, hey, like if you create something in your house, right, just for your own personal enjoyment, even if it's something that's pretty detestable, right? Like I think that should be like allowed,
Except for CP.
Well, I would agree. But even then, like I said, if it's drawn, right? Like if there's a stick figure, and I label the stick figure like and I put boobies on the stick figure. I say that stick figure is 18 years old. Then the next to it, I draw the exact same stick figure, put boobies on it, right? And say it's 15 years old, right?
Prison.
Is that
Straight to jail?
Straight to jail, exactly, right?
Mhm.
So again, when we're talking about like the this drawn stuff, like I have a different opinion on that. Like I think like if there's no actual crime done, I just like disagree with our definition of what counts as CP there, right? I just don't like that's not it, in my opinion. But like if we're talking about like taking a picture of a kid, then fuck that shit. Then
Can I don't want to go down this road too much, and if you don't want to say this, yeah, okay. So just answer me separately then, or in DMs or something. Does the drawing thing to me would seem to like map on almost entirely to like generative AI?
Yeah.
I think not because of the reasons I said previously. Right? I mean, I specifically
not a generative AI of somebody, but just a generative AI.
Oh, I see. Okay. I see. You're talking about the likeness. Oh, yeah. Well, no, but I said that previously. Like, I'm more okay with adults. Okay. So, are you saying? Let me make sure I understand what you're saying. Are you talking about in terms of children, generative AI, in terms of child images?
The AI is
seem to be
doing
identical
the
to drawing it. The AI is doing the drawing.
But
they're doing it very well.
Okay. I see what you're saying, and this is what I'm saying. Like, there might be a difference. We're talking about. I was trying to make that difference between.
Yeah, you don't have to answer it on stream as well. I mean, we
Is
can think
a
about
zero
it. That's
machine
fine.
the same as an AI?
When we're talking about realistic images versus fake images, like I've been convinced of this that like when we're talking about realistic looking images, that an average person might mistake as being real, and those things are problematic. That's what the point I was trying to make previously. So like,
so if it's drawn well enough.
I mean, I think one leads to the other. So just like let's fucking nix it at the beginning, right? Let's nix it. Let's not have the drawings. Let's not be okay with the drawings, because I do believe that's just a slide. It's not a slope. It leads to the one leads to the other. I think.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case. But hold on 1 second.
I think Ali's making some good points.
Yeah, I don't know how preventative it is. I think it's pretty fucking...
this is an even better point. Mike Rich. We need to clip Blackfoot saying I oppose 2A.
Yeah, I thought that earlier when he said it, and I realized he was talking about that.
When did I say? 2A. Oh, you fucking.
Look at Daddy Icow in that picture.
Everyone.
Fraudulent.
That. Not fraudulent. Perfect. Not deep fake. Not deep fake.
Well, that's the next one. Are we going to use AI to like catfish?
See, you don't need deep fakes to fuck somebody over like that. Okay, you don't. You just watch them and then you literally clip chimp. This is what people do on Twitter. This is 90% of like, or maybe 80% of like.
What if you use AI to make yourself look better? Can they sue you for catfishing? When they meet you,
I have long thought that I think catfishing and this is maybe kind of like
I think it's fraud.
out there.
Wait a minute. Hold
I
on.
think
No
it's
way.
fraud that you should be able to recover like from on a civil
Wait,
level.
so-
Like,
Hold on.
if you drive out to meet somebody
wait,
and they actually do not look like they look nothing like their
What
photos
the fuck?
and they
your
trick
face,
you,
your face should be watermarked.
you should be able to take them to small
So-
claims.
So what
and
about
get
that?
your gas money
So the
back.
Chinese guy sued his wife and won in China
Yeah,
because he
it's
had
based.
kids. Yeah,
Good.
the kids were ugly, and
It's
she was
actually a
hot
myth, by the way.
because
It's
she
an
had
urban
had
legend,
whatever.
but-
Wait.
But would you be
Hold on.
okay with Big's
But
lawsuit for
before
that?
that, before we move on,
100%.
Can
So-
you marry these?
So based.
Can you marry these positions for me? Okay, marry these
Mm.
positions. You're
Okay.
saying that if a person presents themselves through some sort of like
I have a
computer
six-pack.
generation, right, as being more attractive than they actually are, that is
Yeah.
fraud, and you should be able to
Yeah.
recover damages. However,
Mhm.
if you
Correct.
create someone go take someone else's images and then alter them in some sort of unrealistic
that not
way,
fraud?
right? That's fine.
Well, I'll explain. One empowers men, the other one no. So the real answer is, again, one is involving like something that's entirely within my control, entirely within my home. That's not being done with the intent of fucking that other person over. It's not being done with the intent to harass. It's not being done with the intent to deceive. Like again, if it's done with the intent to deceive, then we can have a problem. When it comes to these catfishers, the explicit attempt is to deceive. They're trying to get you to do something that you otherwise wouldn't do for
So
them.
it changes.
This to me, hits the elements of fraud more than other example.
So it all makes sense if what you're saying, then I would agree with you. If what you're saying is the difference here would be like the distribution, because once you distribute the deep fake, then you're engaging in the fraud, right?
No, it's watermarked.
Well, right now it isn't. In your hypothetical,
In
specific
my
way.
world, it would have to be.
But right now it's not. So right now, in the
then
world
that
we're
should be
talking
banned.
about.
Okay,
but it isn't. So like,
Well, then I would restrict it like the rest of you want to. I would just add this exception where you add a watermark and then you're good. Boom. Problem solved.
okay. So if they watermark their picture,
Yes, if they watermark their picture on their dating profile, at that point, you drive out there, that's on you. Sorry.
Okay.
In fact, women should have to watermark if they're when they do makeup. They should have to watermark.
Yeah.
Watermark on their
right
face.
there. Yeah.
this doesn't. Okay, so like, we're talking about like celebrities owning their likeness, right? Like people don't own their likeness. I understand that. There no
People generally do. It's actually celebrities actually have much less ownership of their likeness than other people.
So
do.
people
It's very
generally own their
complicated.
likenesses. So then wouldn't this
Sort
be
of.
like one, fraud in that regard, but two, like invasion privacy type situation? No?
No, it's not. Likeness ownership is like very complicated. I don't fully know all the ins and outs of it.
Well,
I know that like
we were just talking about this again because of this fellow Marte who's in the debate space now. And, he came over from, he's been in bodybuilding for a long time. And to be honest, he did a bunch of kind of weird, degenerate things when he was a younger fellow. And there were pictures out there that had been used without his permission.
Bodybuilding.
There were pictures out there of him that were used without his permission, and then it became an interesting issue last week because people were basically accusing him of being gay because of some of the pictures that were put out and some of the stories that were put out and whatever, and that he had done prawn because if you search somebody's name, I guess the Google will find it for you, whether it exists or not. But the interesting thing that I learned that I didn't know is that almost all of these fitness models and a lot of the just regular, low-level fashion models, their images are ripped off all the time, and they have to and used without their permission quite a bit, and they end up having to spend a lot of time going around
Sex workers
and
use them a lot,
taking them
actually.
down. Sorry,
Clubs use
sex
people's,
workers will use that a lot. So like there'll be sex workers who don't want to show their face, and so they'll find some sort of like low-level model or whatever, right? Take their image, right? And like if they're like a brunette, they'll like find a brunette and they'll like use that image instead. And so that's the thing that happens all the time.
Yeah. And apparently it's like these models that are just trying to, basically barely eking out a living or having to go around and have their pictures taken down, and which also costs time and money for them to do. So it's an interesting thing, I think.
All right. Oh, okay. So like, I've seen a bunch of apps and like even ads. They'll use someone's photo for their advertisement, whether it be like an Instagram ad. I remember once like my friend's image got used for like a Hot or Not app, and she didn't agree to the app using her photo. Right.
That app was evil, by the way.
Yeah, but they use her image. I don't think there's no recourse for that, right? Lactoid, like it's not a big deal. They use her image on her Instagram. It's public domain, so they can just screenshot it and use it, and that's not like there's no.
I don't know if legally right now that is the case. I think it should be.
It should
like
be.
If,
No,
if,
it is the case. You can't really. Well, what are you suing for?
If the Instagram is public, I think. Because like think about this, like when you're public, when you're presented, even if you're not like.
I'm sorry, I have to go, guys. Y'all be good.
Have a good one.
Bye, Gibbs.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get out of here in a minute or two as well. It's we're past time, I think.
Well, yeah, you can. If you gotta head out, then have a good one, friend.
Yeah,
man. Thanks. I'll see you guys. Lactoid, always good to see you. Sociologic, even you, Corey, and Prime. Thanks for having me again, man.
Take care. And good luck at your event. When was it again? It's in November or something.
Yeah, it's in November the 14th. I mean, I'm putting a lot of time and money into it just because, I think the thing that DebateCon is missing is the entertainment value and social value that comes from people just being able to hang out. And I think we're going to do, basically in Studio A, we're going to have 3 or 4 long form debates, probably 2 or 3 hour debates. And then I have a smaller studio on that's Studio B. And we'll be doing just interviews with different streamers or people who have, we might do some short form debates in there, just like, 20-minute, 30-minute debates. And then we're also going to have, we're going to get Glenn Lawrence or someone like that to go through and do the man in the crowd kind of camera and get reactions from the people who show up and are there. So, we're serving a lot of food, hopefully have some really good debates. Scott's going to be there. Rob Noor's going to be there. We've got, Gibbs is going to be there. It's going to be a pretty big deal, I think. So.
And the idea was you have to have DebateCon tickets.
Yeah. That's and really that's because it's in support of the event. I was originally going to be, I was basically originally like, hey, if I know you, like I know, like Sociologic, we've interacted enough that I don't think that you would be a detriment to the event, right? But you can't, we can't just have anybody show up because there's security concerns. We got a lot of people there. A lot of people we don't know particularly well. So one of the ways I've got armed security. I've hired 2 armed guards. I have volunteers that are going to be working the door. You cannot get in the back of into the back of the place. It is a massive steel solid gate. And you can't get in. There's just no. You can go over it, but you're not getting in. And then, I've got. I'm providing soft drinks and water. Providing barbecue for lunch. We've got 2 food trucks coming out for dinner. I'm paying for everything. It's totally free. So except for alcohol. If you want to drink alcohol, you have to buy your own alcohol.
Fair.
Go check it out. Much appreciated. Thank you so much.
Make shit happen.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It'd be cool.
Yeah, thanks so much, Grid. That sounds exciting. And guys, you should go check out DebateCon.
Absolutely.
And go support our friend Grid. Have a good one, Grid.
Appreciate it, guys. Yeah, awesome.
See ya.
Take care. Be well.
Thanks.